ProboxTV, your boxing channel. Tonight, from Palenque de la Expo in Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, Mexico, in association with our founding partner, the Hall of Famer, Juan Manuel Marquez Promotions. Once again, we are your home for Wednesday night fights. Our main event of the evening is a backyard brawl with bad blood and a bunch of storylines, and it's for the WBC Latino Lightweight Championship. The champion, looking for his first title defense, is 17-0, 21-year-old Luis Torres. The challenger is 13-1, Misael Cabrera. His only career loss came in his only fight outside of Mexico, a 10-round unanimous decision loss in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. You take a look inside of the arena, which will be hopping tonight, because this, and I quote from Luis Torres, is a high-level fight the fans here have waited to see for a very long time. It is truly a civil war. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Goldberg, of course, with the former world champion Chris Algieri, the Magic Man, doing magical double duty tonight with Claudia Trejos on the Spanish broadcast. He'll join us in just a minute, so we'll really hurry through the open with Pauline out here, I guess.
Yeah, right. a lot less mouthpiece going on.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so let's talk about Luis Torres, the southpaw fighting for the 5th straight time at home. What's he going to bring to the table?
Now, Torres is an all-action fighter. He comes forward. He's not hard to find. He's coming right at you. So he's not like a traditional flashy or stylish southpaw. He's coming right at you. He's a two-fisted attacker. He uses the jab well. He moves his head to get inside. But once he's there, he's looking to unload both hands in combination. If you find yourself on the ropes with this guy, watch out, because he's going to unload those hands.
10 of his 17 wins, Chris, have come by knockout. Both fighters said this is by far the biggest fight of their career.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's that extra added caveat of fighting for someone from across town. There's the natural bragging rights that are going to come along with a win here. So you know both these guys did extra work in the gym, and when it comes to that ringing that first bell, they're going to lay it all on the line.
And unbeaten in his home country of Mexico is the man who is looking to become the new WBC Latino lightweight champion. That is Misael Cabrera. Chris, he's fighting at home for the first time since May of 2017. He is very aggressive. He's also very smart.
Yeah, very aggressive, big puncher. He will back up a little bit. He'll use that pawing jab to find his range, but once he does, he's going to look to unload with both hands to the head and to the body. He likes to swing those big hooks from both sides. Now, I have some friends who live in this town, and they said that he truly is the man about town. He's a very popular guy there. This is his first time fighting here, and he's fighting a hometown rival. So you know he's going to put in that extra work in the gym, which we're seeing here. But that when he's in that ring, he's going to be all business.
All right, so I talked about the bad blood. Is the bad blood on both sides of the highway, or is one guy pushing it more than the other?
According to Torres in the fighter meetings yesterday, that it's only one-sided. It's all on Cabrera. He said he's fine with him. I don't have any bad blood. That's all on Cabrera's side. But listen, when that bell rings and hometown bragging rights are on the line, bad blood or not, these guys are going to go at it.
The great thing is these are two of the best fighters from this fighting town, and it is a high-level matchup, and it is a marquee win for the man who gets their arm range.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a high-level matchup. It's an all-action affair because of their styles and the way they're going to meet. And then you had that little extra added caveat, that civil war. I mean, this is a guaranteed great fight.
And not surprisingly, Misael Cabrera did not agree with the unanimous decision loss in Montreal, Quebec, Canada against, oh, by the way, a fighter from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that fight several times. He boxed well at times, but he didn't get off to a fast start. I think with this fight here, he's going to have to. But listen, he's got a guy, Torres, in front of him that literally is going to be right in front of him. He's not going to be hard to find. He's going to beeline from across his corner, and they're going to be in the center of the ring for most of the fight, I believe.
He did rebound from that lone defeat and looked very impressive. And so, much to your point, you see both these guys coming out and trying to establish themselves early, don't you?
Absolutely. I think it's going to be all action from the opening bell.
All right, that is our main event of the evening, Wednesday night fights. We don't promote boxing. We don't promote boxers. We promote boxing. And tonight it comes to you from Mexico as we get set for our first fight of the night, an 8-round affair in the lightweight division. A young man who we have seen before. here on ProBox TV. 19-year-old Oscar Alvarez Jr. 19 years old, 8-0, 7 wins by knockout. His opponent is Mexico City's Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez knows that he needs a finish against Alvarez Jr. tonight. He is in the ring. He is set to go. 600, we talked about it before, Chris, 677 amateur fights. Unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely incredible. I mean, what a deep amateur background. This kid's seen it all. And we got to call his last fight, which was only 4 weeks ago, mind you. And he was very impressive. He took a big step up in class. He looked great. The fight actually ended and went to a decision because of a headbutt and a clash of heads that caused a cut. But before that, he looked very impressive.
Let's take a look at the cut in which you are referring to. It was a veteran in Nicholas Polanco back on January 25th. Polanco, 20 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw at the time. This was the accidental headbutt in round 7. Yeah,
it was a very scrappy fight up to that point, but Alvarez started to pull away. He really started to get his momentum going. Unfortunately, this clash of heads happened. We didn't get to see Alvarez in his full ability, so I'm looking forward to seeing him pick up where he left off this last fight.
Now, one of the storylines because of that is that he has only sparred for 1 week with that cut under his left eyebrow. We hope that will not be a factor here tonight. Chris, let's get your keys for 19-year-old Oscar Alvarez Jr.
Listen, if you're 6'3", fighting in the 130s, you got to use your height and reach, especially with that eye. You can see that little scar tissue over that eye, so it's really important for him to fight at a length. Use long right hands. He's got a southpaw in front of him. The right hand is the ideal weapon to fighting that southpaw. Goes, splits the guard. That's going to be the punch of the night for him. And then lastly, go to the body. He loves to hit the body, but being the taller man, he's got to use those uppercuts to pick his man up and then come up underneath so he can avoid another clash of heads.
His opponent, Mexico City's Diego Lopez. He is much older than Alvarez. He's 22. Alvarez, 19 years old. He said, I've got to look for the knockout. This is not my backyard. And not surprisingly, Diego Lopez, Chris told us he wants to impose his distance. He wants to not let Oscar Alvarez get comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, he sounded very smart in terms of what his game plan was when he was talking in the fighter meetings yesterday. He's got to get inside. I mean, when you've got that reach and height disadvantage, you got to get on the inside where you can make the real estate work for you.
All right, your keys to victory for Diego Lopez.
Even though he's fighting a taller man with a much longer reach, you don't want to forget the jab. Jab the taller man in order to get your way inside. Combination punching. Once you finally get to that real estate where you're in punching range, you got to let those hands go, and you should use both hands to the head and to the body. And then lastly, throw your hooks. When you have a taller opponent who may potentially pull straight back, the hooks are your weapon to go to.
Our tail of the tape for our first fight on this Wednesday night, live from Obregon, Sonora, Mexico. It is the 19-year-old unbeaten Oscar Alvarez Jr. against the 22-year-old Diego Lopez. Freakishly tall and long at 131.2 pounds, 6'3" to 5'7", and a 10-inch reach advantage for 19-year-old Oscar Alvarez Jr. This one's scheduled for 8 in the lightweight division from Mexico, live on ProBox TV. Here are the official introductions.
Damas y caballeros, esta es la tercera llamada. ¡Comenzamos! Y a nombre de ProBox TV y Juan Manuel Márquez y Márquez Promotions, le damos las más cordiales bienvenidas a una noche boxística más. Y en esta ocasión, desde el fabuloso Palenque de la Expo, en la siempre cálida Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, México. Este evento es traído a ustedes y es sancionado por la Honorable Comisión Estatal de Sonora de Boxeo, Lucha Libre y Artes Marciales Mixtas. El presidente Francisco Laveaga, comisionado de boxeo Francisco Romero, el jefe de servicios médicos el doctor Jorge Verduzco, al frente del tiempo Gustavo Flores, sus 3 jueces, Juan Martínez, Miguel Caro y Luis García. El tercero en la superficie para medir las acciones, el experimentado Alonso Montes. Ahora bien, amigos, prepárense. 8 rounds de boxeo en la división de peso ligero. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready. 8 rounds of boxing in the lightweight division. Introducing first, the fighter standing in the blue corner. He wears a black trunks with white trim. He officially weighs in 135 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina azul, pantaloncillo negro con blanco, con un peso de 135 libras. He brings a record 3 victories, 1 defeat, 1 draw, and 2 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 3 victorias, 1 derrota, 1 empate y 2 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. De la Ciudad de México, from Mexico City, Mexico, Diego Lopez. And his opponent across the ring is standing in the red corner. He wears the white trunks with pink trim. He also weighs in the same 135 pounds. Y su rival en la esquina roja, pantaloncillo en color blanco con rosa, con un peso idéntico de 135 libras. Standing with a professional record, a perfect one. 8 victories, no defeats, and 7 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 8 victorias, 0 derrotas y 7 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. El invicto de Ciudad Obregón, Sonora. Oscar, el hijo de Sonora. Junior. And now with the final instructions, your referee in charge, su referee con las indicaciones finales, Alonso Montes. 8 rounds, 8 asaltos.
Sí, ok. Sí. Muy bien. Ok, jóvenes, quiero una pelea limpia. No quiero golpes en los bajos ni en la nuca. Cuando quedan cuerpo a cuerpo, se separan sin tirar golpes. ¿Estamos de acuerdo? Vamos, suerte y que gane mejor. Ánimo.
Oscar Alvarez Jr.
Listo.
fighting once again here on ProboxTV. Our leader, Gary Jonas, said we are going to watch him fight here in our world headquarters in Tampa and at home in Mexico. That's exactly what is happening tonight.
Listo.
His opponent, Diego Lopez. Fight scheduled for 8 rounds. And yes, the Magic Man, the 2-time world champion, Paulie Malignaggi, has joined us for the broadcast
Listo.
of the fight. Here we go. It's time to fight. Paulie, you can speak in English, you can speak in Spanish, Italian. You pick, but you get it started. You're going English? All right, Paulie's going English as we get things going here early.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have frills, you got to be able to fight.
Absolutely, and he is sporting the frills. He does have an amazing 10-inch reach advantage. And Chris, we saw him back in January, and Paulie, very composed and a real step up in competition with Nicholas Polanco.
Yeah, that was by Lopez. That's one of the shots that I said that he needed to land to target that recently damaged eye, using that right-handed southpaw and that right hook over the top. Look to reopen that cut early. Smart move there from Lopez.
And you talked about in the open, Chris, that scar tissue starts to build up. And this fight was not all that long ago when he did suffer the accidental headbutt. He was back on January 25th. Mike Goldberg, Chris Algieri, and Paulie Malignaggi. Great to be with you. Wednesday night fights here on ProboxTV.
To develop, and he's going to be a fun fighter to watch as he works his way up the ladder. But tonight he's got to be careful again, because I wonder how much sparring he was able to do having had that cut.
1 week. He told us 1 week,
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So, you know, you may not be as sharp, but of course you're stepping a little bit down in competition. But you got to watch the head clashes. You know, against a southpaw, it's weird. You know, I personally wouldn't have chosen a southpaw as the opponent if I got a fresh cut on my head, because, you know, with southpaws there tend to be more head clashes.
Especially a cut on the lead eye, which is going to be that's where the head clashes would happen. With a southpaw, they're way more common.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, does Oscar Alvarez Jr. approach things a little bit differently because of the southpaw, because of the cut under his eye, Paul?
You know, maybe we'll see. You know, he may treat this like a little bit of a sparring session, just stay busy, not try to go for the gusto. This way he can maybe fight again next month, because he's young. We're seeing he likes to be active, he likes to be busy. Although Diaz there, you know, Lopez there trying to get busy himself, trying to throw some overhand shots.
I think already from what I've seen from Alvarez compared to what we saw in January, he is more composed. He's starting slower. He was very aggressive in the Polanco fight, coming forward a little haphazardly at times. This first round, he was smart, using his length, using his reach, and picking with that straight right hand against the southpaw.
Well, I'll tell you, champ, you know, he was stepping up a lot with the Polanco fight. That was very interesting, and I think he wanted to show that he was the goods.
Also, that was only his second time fighting in the States, so he really wanted to make a statement.
And his first time fighting on ProboxTV, and he is truly one of the A-class future stars here on ProboxTV. Juan Manuel Marquez, Julio Cesar Chavez, his idols, and Juan Manuel, who is broadcasting with Claudia Trejos from Mexico tonight, is very high on the talent level of this 19-year-old.
I mean, when you got close to 700 amateur fights, like I said in the opening, he's seen it all, and they can move him very quickly. So anyone who's going to be around him in the pro ranks can be very excited about what they can do with him, because you don't have to baby him. You can throw him in there for real fights, and we're going to see how he's going to sink or swim.
Yeah, and you know, I went into in January how, you know, maybe it's I'm a little skeptical that he had 700 amateur fights, but clearly he had a lot, because I tell you what, his composure in the ring, it tells you that he's got plenty of experience and he knows what he's doing. He's been in there a lot. For you don't get that composure in the gym. You get that composure just from the rounds on top of rounds of competition nights.
A great researcher, the fine Canadian Andre, broke it down for us. For 14 years as an amateur, he averaged 48 fights a year. So he took 4 weeks off. I mean, that's kind of lazy, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
He basically took off his birthday and Christmas. Other than that, he fought every single week.
And thankfully, his birthday is not on Christmas, or that would have been another move, you know. He's got to get aggressive here. He's got a smile on his face, so he's very comfortable.
Or maybe that's why he's a 6'3" lightweight. He's making weight his whole life. If you're fighting every week, you're making weight every week.
He's been landing a nice left hook over the right shoulder of Lopez thus far, coming off that right hand. It's a great move against the southpaw, especially when you've got that height advantage.
I'll tell you what, Lopez may be, you know, lesser talented of the two, but he's on. Oh, good shot. Another one. Nice two left hands in a row by Lopez. He's undaunted. He came here to fight. Listen, guys from Mexico City, they're going to know how to fight either way, whether they're opponents or not. You step in the gyms of Mexico City, you got to know how to fight to hang in there.
Well, I liked what he said in the fighter meetings yesterday, did Lopez. I mean, he had a game plan. He had an idea that he wanted to be smart with his movement. He wanted to get inside, and he knew he needed to have a knockout because of his last loss. He said he learned that lesson.
And he is not the hometown fighter tonight. Oscar Alvarez Jr. is the one fighting in his hometown. And again, Lopez comes over the top. He's utilizing some slip and rip here in round one, and again he connects.
And Alvarez has to be careful. I mean, he's taking a lot of left hands here this round, and also he's a little bit wide with that right hand. When he comes around and misses it, Lopez is also countering him.
What's worrying me is that I'm not seeing an adjustment from Alvarez at all. He's gotten hit with 4 or 5 straight left hands in this fight, and they're all looking the same.
And now he's pointing to the back of his head, saying Lopez hit him there, but it's the frustration of this Lopez attack ball.
Look at the Lopez cutting off the ring too after that. He got only 4 or 5 amateur fights, 4 or 5 pro fights. But you had Alvarez against the ropes, try to slide against the ropes. He cut him off.
Yeah, we were talking about the composure of Alvarez, but I'm telling you right now, Lopez, with only 5 fights, is looking very seasoned. Very seasoned and very comfortable.
Coming in with an official record of 3-1-1, and really throwing that jab out with ill intention. Trying to keep that distance in check against Oscar Alvarez. Paulie, his lone loss was a 6-round majority decision, and he had a draw. So really, 2 judges on scorecards in 2 fights.
Left hand.
He could be unbeaten at 5-0.
Yeah, and clearly he's fighting that way. Yeah, he's fighting that way, and had himself a very good second round, I'll tell you that.
No easy fights on ProBox TV. Don't let the records fool you. Everybody can fight here.
Respira como si estuvieras cansado. Yo sé que estás fresco como una pinche lechuga, pero usted respira como si estuviera cansado, cabrón. Ya lo traes. Poco a poco, no te me aloques. Poco a poco estás trabajándolo. Dentro de un ratito ya está a punto de turón. Y aprietas y se tiene que caer los techos de piedra para salir.
In that first round, I spoke about that left hook from Alvarez. Here we're going to see him. He comes off that Schrader and hand, comes back with the left hook, just misses. And then both guys here trading shots, and there's that big overhand left 2 times from Lopez that landed clean. But that was the story of the second round as far as I'm concerned. It was the left hand from Lopez that landed consistently, time and time again. He landed probably half a dozen in that round.
And like you said, Champ, no adjustment from Alvarez.
So round number 3, 1-1 in your eyes, Chris?
Yeah, I have it 1-1. I had the first round to Alvarez and the second round to Lopez. But, I mean, the momentum is definitely in Lopez's corner right now.
Yeah, round 2 momentum was so much in Lopez's favor. Even Stevie Wonder would have a 1-1 right now.
Hopefully he's not judging tonight.
And Lopez has had a couple of judges that he's probably happy aren't ringside again tonight. Scheduled for 8, lightweight matchup. Oscar Alvarez Jr.
There it is again. I mean, there's no reaction from Alvarez. Lopez gets his head off line, throws the punch to where his head is, and just missed that time, but that was not because of anything that Alvarez did.
Yeah, sometimes he just misses it, but it wasn't because Alvarez made him miss. I think he just came up a little low on the chest instead of on the chin.
I like what Lopez is doing. He's keeping his eyes focused on the collarbone of Alvarez. He's actually punching even above his eyesight at times. He's not looking to see the punch land. He just knows where his head is.
Alvarez just turned southpaw. Yep.
Interesting.
And this is where I start to have my doubts about the 700 amateur fights, because you got a 3-1-1 kid who's better. Maybe he's better than his record, but you're still out of ideas for trying to make an adjustment. And it's not realistic when you have that many amateur fights.
Does going southpaw, though, with that injured eye now back a little bit, Chris, does going southpaw help in that regard? Could that be one of the reasons?
It does if he's adept at fighting southpaw. I'm not sure that he is, though. I mean, most guys switch because they're uncomfortable, because they have an injury. So I don't know if he can adequately fight that way. Yes, it would protect that eye a little bit, but
that was pretty okay.
Still getting trapped.
Yeah.
Now he's just trying to overwhelm Lopez instead of trying to beat him technically, trying to throw more punches, land more punches. Lopez trying to give it back as much as he's taking, but there Alvarez.
That's a good flurry.
Yeah, getting the better of the exchanges, the activity. Not like he's defensively responsible. He's still taking shots, but now he's just being way more active.
This is what I saw more of in the first fight when he fought Polanco. You know, he really puts his nose on the line, but just to land his power shots.
Body hat. 45 seconds left in round number 3. Wow. Big left hand by Diego Lopez.
That was right on the money.
And you see the smile on the part of Alvarez. I'm not one of those guys that says, oh, you smile because you're hurt. No, he's smiling because he's embarrassed. You know, he's sort of like, you know, he's trying to show Lopez, like, yeah, you're not hurting me, but it's more frustration. Like, I can't believe I'm taking these shots. I'm going to smile it off.
If you can see, you see all the red marks along the collarbone and shoulders of Alvarez, because Lopez is placing those punches very, very smartly. He's very precise with that left hand.
Yeah, and the red marks are getting more and more clear every round.
And a lot more southpaw here late in round number 3 from Oscar Alvarez Jr.
Con el agua.
¿Cómo lo sientes? Bien, bien.
See some action from that round. We see things got hot and heavy there. You see Lopez just missed with the left hand, and Alvarez tried to take advantage by overwhelming him, taking advantage of the busted position that came from missing the left hand. See a couple of shots. Nothing's landing too cleanly, but both guys letting the hands fly. Alvarez has to be careful. Nice right hand there at the end of that replay. But gotta be careful with the left hands of Lopez. So you just notice Lopez, even within the exchange, he's keeping his eyes open and trying to keep that position to throw the left hand. He's thinking in there. It's 3-1-1, but even in the exchanges, even in an exchange where Alvarez got the better of it there because of the activity, you see Lopez's eyes are real wide open looking for a moment to throw that left hand.
So we have made it to round number 4. Oscar Alvarez Jr. in the pink and white trunks, white and black trunks for Diego Lopez, the southpaw. Here in this round 4, Oscar Alvarez Jr. back in the traditional orthodox stance. And another left connects a jab, right, pardon me, from Lopez. He has found a home for that. He's timing the movement of Oscar Alvarez Jr. beautifully.
And his movement's been beautiful, too. When he landed that right hook, he slid off to that right side. Very, very savvy stuff so far. He's been fighting a very intelligent fight thus far.
And here we go southpaw again, Paulie.
Yeah. I mean, it's the one adjustment, if you can call it an adjustment on the part of Alvarez that's been made. I'm thinking maybe he does it so he's got something in the lead, in the way to maybe partially block that left hand that Lopez keeps throwing and landing.
And especially with the jab of Lopez being the right hand, it's landing near the damaged eye that we saw from the headbutt in the fight back in January with Nicholas Polanco. But you made a great point, Chris. Both you guys talking, you know, it's all good if you can protect yourself a little bit more from the southpaw stance as he switches back to orthodox and eats another punch. But if you can't, the protection isn't going to be there.
Well, I think you nailed it on the head when you're talking about embarrassment from...
For somebody of his height, for me, he didn't jab enough even in the first fight. I watched him against Polanco.
Well, even in this fight, he has a 10-inch reach advantage.
Yeah, crazy, right?
I've never even seen that. I've never seen a 10-inch differential in reach on a tail of the tape.
When he does jab, look what, you know.
He doesn't miss.
It's simple, you know?
Unless maybe it's a John Jones fight.
Yeah.
With that 84.5 inch. But here you have a man in Diego Lopez who knows that if he can come in, get a knockout, because he told us in the fighter meetings, he feels he's got to get a finish to get the win on home soil with Oscar Alvarez fighting here at home. But he lacks no confidence, especially working with that jab from the right side southpaw stance and being able to slip and rip and time Oscar Alvarez Jr. very well.
I mean, if he keeps boxing this intelligently and making these shots land consistently, I don't think he's going to... Lopez doing a really nice job of making it very difficult for the judges to give rounds to Alvarez.
Yeah.
He's starting early in the round. He's ending the round strong. It's, you know, what do you remember the last thing you saw? It was a nice right hook landed from Lopez.
Yeah. Well timed.
Yeah.
And also, it's something you look at in between the exchanges. You see Alvarez is like more jittery, jumping in place in between exchanges, just
switching sides back to back.
Little things that just make you question it. Jittery. Anytime you look at Lopez, you know, off of a break, he's calm, he gets in his stance, he has an understanding of what he wants to do and not do. I don't know, dude. Somebody with 600 to 700 amateur fights, you don't break it. You're not that jittery in between exchanges. You kind of have an idea of what you want to do and what you want to set up next. You're probably already thinking of what you want to set up next after the referee has broken, you know?
The guy I can think of who had anywhere near that many fights in his pro debut was Lomachenko, and he looked phenomenal in his pro debut.
How about 396-1 as an amateur for Lomo?
Yeah, he's one of the best amateurs that's ever lived.
Round number 5. This fight is scheduled for 8. Oscar Alvarez Jr. in the pink and white trunks with a very long reach advantage. Diego Lopez has come to steal the show. He's in the white and black trunks, just 22 years old.
Also, again, second time we're watching Alvarez fight. I've yet to see a feint from this guy in 2 fights. You know, I don't think, you know, somebody with that many amateur fights, they were teaching me how to feint with after a year, maybe a year and a half I was boxing, you know, like, and I'm not going to say I was using it every fight, but there comes a point where, you know, you start to use it amongst your arsenal. You know, this little thing, especially when you're looking for ideas, feints are a small, subtle thing that can create openings or just change the rhythm of a fight around, you know?
Another thing, I really thoroughly dislike the switching of the sides over and over again from Alvarez. He's not doing anything with it. He's not building on it. He's not looking for anything. It's not like he's taking and analyzing data and making adjustments. He's getting hit.
And again, he got hit.
Now he's even getting hit on the switches.
I mean, great timing. That's a nice uppercut thrown by Alvarez Jr., but great timing on the counters from Diego Lopez as we approach 90 seconds, the midway mark of round number 5.
Yeah, if you look at Lopez, even when shots are coming his way, he's got his eyes open. Like, he's trying his best to keep his position so he can fire right back. See, there is again, kept his position very well, stepped just out of range and was able to come back with a 1-2. Again, a good sense of what he wants to do and not do. I'll go back to saying that because it doesn't look like Alvarez has a sense of what he wants to do and not do. It's like he's throwing stuff out.
Because he's actually fighting a very great, wonderful fight, but he said he was going to do this. This is what he wanted to do when he was in the fighter meeting. He said, I'm going to use smart footwork. I need to get inside. I need to throw combinations and be smart. And he's doing that. I mean, that's very impressive for someone with 5 pro fights.
Straight up said, my strategy is to make Alvarez Jr. go into my world, to fight my fight and utilize his movement. And we're seeing it here.
And again, look at the jabs. I mean, if Alvarez would just stay just with that alone, I mean, he could start opening up other things. His jab is pretty good. He establishes distance when he uses it, and then he just goes away from it or starts touching like this, you know?
I was going to have you guys break down the leg position and the foot war, orthodox against southpaw, but he keeps going both.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Goldie. When you're touching like that with the lead hand, that's a trap you're setting. I don't think he even realizes what he's doing there because when you touch instead of snap your jab, you're looking to draw something out of your opponent so you can counter it. He's just touching just to touch. It's almost like he's searching for something. You have to know why you're doing everything you're doing in the ring. You know, so if you're not looking to set up a counter, you throw a harder jab. If you're looking to set up a counter, you throw something softer. You're almost looking to set a trap to where you want a guy to react off of it, and you're already setting up for that reaction and counter it. He's in that moment. When at least when he snaps his jab, it kind of works. He should stay with that because when he's just touching, it's not like he's doing anything to set anything up. It's almost like he's touching, probing, hoping something opens up for him so he can leave. He's not really searching for that counter.
No te pegues tanto y sube la mano, es eso.
Here we see a little action from that last round. Alvarez had a better round, found some momentum and rhythm, landed a big, nice right hook there. When he lets his hands go and he stays tight and stays long, he has success.
So when he utilizes the God-given length and reach properly, he has success. It's basically what you're saying, right, Chris?
But he hasn't done anything with any consistency.
Right.
If he uses that jab, like Paulie was saying, if he comes out and snaps that jab instead of pawing with it, it lands well. But it does set things up, like exactly like Paulie said too. I don't think he understands what he's setting up. He's just fighting.
Mike Goldberg, Chris Algieri, Paulie Malignaggi, Wednesday night fights here on your boxing channel, ProBox TV. Tonight, we come to you from Obregon, Sonora, Mexico, the hometown of 8-0 Oscar Alvarez Jr.
And look at how Lopez is doing. I just realized Lopez is doing too. He knows that if Alvarez just touches enough and doesn't get anything what he wants, he'll just force a punch out. So Lopez is sitting there waiting on the touches because he can't fight in and out against a guy this tall. So he instead of being in and out against him, he's just waiting on the touches, and he knows Alvarez is eventually going to lose patience and swing for something like crazy, make him miss that, and then he'll counter that. Watch, he doesn't react to these touches. But he knows Alvarez will eventually throw something ridiculous and which he can counter.
Hey, Lopez is smart. He's fighting outside the range of the taller man. He's taking little half steps, waiting for him to overthrow and be off balance and fall into shots.
Yeah, I'd love to see a feint from Alvarez. I mean, it would actually even start surprising Lopez, and he maybe create some openings. Of course, I'd also love to see a feint from Lopez as well. Actually, at this point, I wonder what Alvarez would react to.
Fight is scheduled for 8 rounds. Lopez had about a month's notice for this fight. It was 43 days ago that Oscar Alvarez Jr. made his ProBox TV debut.
Some beautiful jabs there from Alvarez, snapping the head back of Lopez.
And a good right hand.
You're seeing a little momentum shift here. These last 2 rounds, Alvarez is gaining a little ground. He's starting to find some things that are working. And really, Lopez is just being less busy.
Yeah, he's got to get himself in position. No, Alvarez.
Oh, Alvarez.
And again, a connection from Alvarez Jr. Tough to win on the road, and it is the road for the young man from Mexico City. He said in our fighter meetings yesterday, guys, that he feels he needs a knockout to get the victory here against Oscar Alvarez Jr. He's got about 6 minutes and 40 seconds left if it continues. And he'll look to pick up the pace like that.
Why did that just happen? Because he forced something that wasn't there. Yep. He's not setting it up. He just wants to throw something out there just to throw it, and he got caught there in return.
He ends up overextending, doesn't he, Chris?
Yeah, he's getting off balance going over his front foot being aggressive.
Honestly, he could just jab, 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 and create the openings with the jab alone. Like he did about a minute ago, you know, when after a couple of jabs, he landed some nice right hands. Watch that head clash there.
Yeah, both guys are getting a little sloppy here.
And that is something when he's in the orthodox stance, and he loves to throw those wide hooks, and beautiful ones connect there. But with those wide hooks could come another accidental headbutt. So I wonder how much Lopez is doing his thing, as we've talked about, but how Alvarez is trying to adjust, knowing that it's another southpaw, knowing that he only sparred for a week, and knowing that his eye is still compromised 43 days later.
Yeah, and that's maybe one thing we can give Alvarez a break on with the technical. So maybe he's not sharp, as sharp defensively as he should be, because you know you can get a lot of sparring, and your eye is trained by the sparring. Your defense gets sharper when you spar.
I don't know, you know how it is back then. You fight so often, it's almost like your fights count as sparring sessions at that point. You fought 5 weeks ago, and you went 7 rounds.
See a little exchange. You see that hook there set up by Alvarez, and that was he was pulling down the head of Lopez first. A little smart, sneaky stuff, keeping the head down, and then when he lets it go, Lopez's head is going to instinctively pop up because it's being held down, and when it comes up, Alvarez is already waiting to throw a left hook, and he lands a good left hook at the end of that replay.
Alvarez is starting to have success letting his hands go and throwing in combination, mostly because Lopez isn't firing back anymore. Yeah, he was punching in the middle in the first couple rounds.
You made a good point last round, champ, with a little bit of fatigue starting to show on the part of Lopez. Could it be that he got 4 weeks of training and maybe not a full training camp? You know, it is an 8-rounder. He's only got 5 pro fights. A little less activity, a little less reactiveness on the part of Lopez now.
And Paulie, this is the first 8-rounder of Diego Lopez's career. We're in the 7th, so the longest fight of Diego Lopez's professional career.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't think I had an 8-rounder until I had about close to 10 bouts.
Yeah.
That's early in your career to have an 8-rounder.
Yeah, I had 12 fights. my 12th fight was on my first 8-rounder.
Alvarez looking for another victory. He'd love to move to 9-0. Combination thrown by Diego Lopez.
And that was something that Lopez also nice counter jab there by Lopez. That was a mistake that Alvarez was making even in January when we saw him. He goes straight back a little bit. He has a tendency to go straight back. And you know, when your opponent follows you and keeps his footing, he can catch you when you go straight back like that. You don't want to go straight back and stand straight up like that.
Nice jab there from Lopez as well. In that southpaw position, popped the head up of Alvarez.
It's almost been a counter jab throughout. It's been one of the most effective punches for Diego Lopez.
Yeah, exactly. He's going over Alvarez's jab as he overreaches, like you were saying before. He gets off balance, comes forward, he gives up that height.
And that's because, you know why you I saw tell you, and you know why he gives up that height and gives up these shots too defensively is also because he's on his front foot. I mean, you're 6'3" and you fight on your front foot. Yeah, it's not the most smart tactic, but at this point, it's almost like a habit, maybe a bad habit that he has.
Well, that's what we were saying in the fight with Polanco, and one of the reasons why he had the head clash. He's so heavy over that front foot that he's putting his nose right on the line.
I'm always a believer that if you're going to be a front foot fighter, you better punch like hell, man. You better be a hard puncher because, you know, that benefits a hooker maybe, but you're going to be defensively liable for a lot.
Good jab there from Alvarez. Yeah, we're seeing Lopez definitely fatigue setting in. Not seeing those quick reactions like we were in the first couple rounds.
30 seconds on the clock here in round number 7. 3-1-1 Diego Lopez, 8-0 19-year-old Oscar Alvarez Jr. Alvarez Jr. trains with Luis Torres. Featured in our main event of the evening, that left hook. The right hook from the southpaw, then the left over the top. Lopez has come to fight. There is no question about it. Fatigue, as you guys talked about, a bit of a factor here and there, but he's turning it up at the end of rounds. Will be enough to leave an impression in the judges' minds.
That round was kind of a hard round to score because Lopez landed some really good shots early.
Con fuerza, con fuerza.
Back strong at the end
Mira,
of the
mijo, si le echas huevos, ahorita lo vas a chingar. Necesitas echarle huevos, cabrón. Es el 8, hijo, es el último, échale huevos, cabrón. Muévase, muévase para los lados y tírale con huevos, cabrón. Suba las pinches manos como si fuera cabrón.
Last round, go. Get him.
Sube los pinches manos como si fuera cabrón.
Raise your hands, Zito, and keep your hands up and get going.
Es con todo, cabrón. Nada más.
Here we see some action from that last round. Both guys exchanging big overhand left from Lopez and another one. He doubled it when he doubles up that left hand, which he did twice in that round. He had a lot of sense, and that was early in the round. We see a little smile there from Lopez.
Último round, último round.
Getting set for the 8th and final round. Oscar Alvarez Jr. in the pink and white. Diego Lopez in the white and black. Chris, how's your scorecard look?
I actually got Lopez ahead by 1 point. I had it even going into the last round. Last round was hard to score. I could see you going either way, but I like the work that Lopez did early because he landed such clean shots.
Magic Man?
I got it the same. 4-3. Lopez.
So let's see what happens in the next 2.5 minutes. Another connection with the left from Diego Lopez.
Maybe see a mark under the right eye cut from under the right eye of Alvarez. Opposite of the other cut from the last fight.
Which is actually a good thing for Oscar Alvarez, right?
I don't know, is it?
But I'll tell you, being a front foot fighter like this, he's going to have a lot of cuts in his career. You know, because you're inviting, not only are you inviting head clashes, but you're also inviting punches in general.
Yeah.
You know?
And on top of it, you're a taller man, you're going to get the worst end of those headbutts because your head is up higher.
I guess my point is it's never good, Chris, but don't want the one that's already damaged and compromised to really start bleeding, and then all of a sudden you see a fight be stopped that you wanted to finish.
He got a nice shiner, too, I'll tell you.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, there's a head clash. And old 1-2 by Lopez. Headbutt, then left hand.
That might be the oldest one, too. Headbutt first, then the right hand.
another headbutt left hand.
And Lopez is letting it go here in the 8th and final round. 90 seconds. Now less on the clock remaining in this bout.
I mean, I'll tell you, this scorecards are going to get interesting.
Yeah. I think
Champ, you're right.
Alvarez is cut again.
Your boxing channel. All the fights are tough.
All the fights are tough. Don't let the records fool you.
Oh, great combination. Straight back again. And Alvarez landed a couple of good shots this round too, but he just, you know, it's Lopez finishing the exchange, and that's what sticks out in the eyes of the judges a lot of times.
See that beautiful jab and roll out? That was a very, very savvy little move there from Lopez. I'm very impressed with Lopez, man. He knows how to fight.
He has done what he told us he wanted to do, and that is to force Oscar Alvarez Jr. to fight his fight. He's done it more often than not, and we're seeing another example of it here in sports in round number 8. 40 seconds remain.
Yeah, it looks like Alvarez cut over that formerly damaged left eye, the lead eye. He's also cut under the right eye. Oh, good jab.
That's the jab you wanted all night long, Paulie.
He would have shut him out if he would have done this, because look how it shuts down Lopez. If you just jab him, he's almost under control.
With a 10-inch reach, you're basically boxing with your nieces and nephews at that point.
And any of the good work that he does do, he shot it not better.
It's going to end up in the hands of the judges. They go the distance. Oscar Alvarez Jr. and Diego Lopez.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, Champ. There's going to be some very interesting scorecards.
Yeah.
And I mentioned earlier, guys, the lone loss for Lopez was a 6-round majority decision to 5-1-1 countryman Flores Mendoza. Lopez also had a draw, so he could easily be undefeated, but for 2 judges' scorecards in 2 fights. Let's see what the judges say in this fight.
He certainly boxed like the undefeated man, that's for sure tonight. He looked great. I really like the things that he did in there. He looked savvy, he looked seasoned, he knew what he wanted to do.
It'll be a draw.
Yeah, I got the same. I'm not one of those guys who likes to score blood, but when you look at the marks on the face, a lot of times that can tell the hidden story whether you like what you're seeing or not.
Palenque de la Expo, Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, Mexico. Wednesday night fights here on ProBox TV. Let's break it down. This 8-rounder goes the distance.
A good fight here, competitive despite the records. You can see Lopez getting caught going on the out of the combination of Alvarez. But I saw some nice sharp counters by Lopez all throughout the night. Good sense of positioning. He was very good with his left hand. Landed a lot of them, both on the lead and the counter. And a lot of times it was because Alvarez was falling in. Nice little counter uppercut there by Alvarez as Lopez fell in there. And look, he was able to start following it up with a good exchange. Good exchange there by Alvarez. Good advantage there. Saw some of the action as the fight went on. It looked like Lopez might start slowing down, but you know, he got almost looked like he started getting a second wind in the last rounds. And two good left hands by Lopez, and then the last round was all the fight for. Both guys were going at it. Good right hands there exchanged by both guys.
Entertaining fight either way. Yeah. Good exchanges, both men.
Yeah.
And you know it's a tough fight to score when we wait and the fighters wait impatiently for the judges to render their decision.
Hiciste muy buen trabajo. La gente habla. Si dice López es que el pinche López hizo buen trabajo. Espérame, papá. Hay que dárselo.
Don't forget our main event of the evening still to come. It is a civil war. Two men from Obregon are going to battle. Luis Torres says this is a high-level, high-intensity fight the fans have wanted for a long time. Main event still to come. Luis Torres and Misael Cabrera. Right now we await the official decision of Oscar Alvarez Jr. and Diego Lopez.
Allá, al centro del cuadrilátero.
Excelente pelea, muy buena pelea. Muy buena pelea, amigo. Muy buena pelea. Siguen preparándose.
Pablo Flores gathering the judges' scorecards. And let's find out if indeed Diego Lopez has pulled off the upset. Time for the official decision. Here is Pablo Flores.
And ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of boxing, we now go to the judges' scorecards. Damas y caballeros, después de 8 rounds de combate, nos vamos con las tarjetas de los jueces. Los jueces, judges, Juan Martínez, he scored the bout 78 to 74. 78 a 74 calificó Juan Martínez. Luis García, he scores it 77 to 75. 77 a 75. Y Miguel Caro calificó el combate 77 a 77. He scored the bout 77-77 even. For your winner by the way of majority decision, el vencedor por la vía de la decisión mayoritaria. Puritito, Ciudad Obregón, Sonora. Y a un invicto, Oscar, el hijo de Sonora, Alvarez Jr.
Majority decision win for Oscar Alvarez Jr.
77.
Y también fuerte reconocimiento para su rival de la Ciudad de México, Diego Lopez.
So Oscar Alvarez Jr. avoids the upset, and Diego Lopez suffers his second career loss, and once again it comes by a majority decision. Hey, you can win and make a name for yourself even in defeat, Chris, and I would say that is exactly what we have seen happen tonight from Diego Lopez. Diego Lopez is now 3-2, and Oscar Alvarez is 9-0. Chris Algieri, again, I don't want to take too much away from Lopez because I thought his attack was very calculated and very well performed, but you're protecting an eye and you haven't sparred a lot. I feel like that was a factor in the way that Oscar Alvarez Jr. fought. Maybe I'm just letting him off the hook.
Well, no, that's something to think about because he did start a little bit slow. And if you gave him those early rounds, I could see how some of those scorecards would have happened that way. Because in the middle rounds, he boxed well. He found his rhythm. He was throwing his combinations. But I thought Lopez, man, he came on those last 2 rounds and really found another gear and was able to land some of those big shots. So I don't necessarily, I can't see how it can have a 78-74. You're only giving Lopez 2 rounds. But like I said, if you gave the benefit of the doubt to Oscar Alvarez in those first couple rounds and you gave him those rounds that not as much happened, potentially I could see it. But either way, there's some things that need to be addressed in training for Alvarez, aside from being able to protect his face, because we're seeing it now 2 fights back to back. He's incurring damage and cuts on those eyes. I mean, if you're gonna have a long storied career, you can't be getting cut this early. Yeah,
there's no question about it. And hey, let's just put it on the table. He's not going to get any shorter. And they're calling him, you know, the fedora of the super featherweight division. Oscar Alvarez, he's a big, tall kid with a big, long reach. He's got big shoe size, and he seems to be on that front foot all the time. I know you'd like to see him kind of move both feet, get those feet moving, be better. I mean, they always say smart feet, smart fighter, right?
Right. I mean, listen, if you're going to be on the front foot, at least lead with the jab, not your face.
Right.
You know, when you're this tall and you have a 10-inch reach of it, and when he jabbed in that fight, he had great success. He couldn't miss. Not when he pawed it, when he actually snapped it. When he snapped it, he was doing really well against Lopez, but he needs to be able to build off that. I think when they go back to the drawing board and they look at this fight, they're going to see some of the good things that he did, namely the jab, some of the bad things that need to be addressed and changed, but ultimately, you know, it's one of those fights where I think he should learn a lot.
A couple of times early in the fight, we saw Alvarez throw the jab, but he wasn't fully committed to it, right, Chris? And when that happened, there was a nice counter slip and rip from Diego Lopez. That gets in the back of your mind if you're 19 years old.
Well, actually, it was one of two things. He was either not committed or he was overcommitted. He needs to find that middle ground, because when because overcommitted, he completely gives up his height. He's also there to get hit for the counter, which we saw from Lopez, who was coming right over the top with his own jab, the southpaw jab. And when the guy is 10 inches on you, you shouldn't be able to crack him with a jab. And Lopez was able to do that. So he needs to not paw the jab, and he also needs to not overthrow the jab. You got to find that middle ground. That takes time. 700 amateur fights, I think it would be enough time, but, you know, the pros are different.
All right, so that is our first fight of the night, and it is now officially in the books, and it is a win for Oscar Alvarez Jr., 2-0 here on ProBox TV, 9-0 as a professional, just 19 years old. Don't forget, we are your home for Wednesday night fights, and we're back with another installment from right here inside our world headquarters in Tampa, Florida on Wednesday, March 22nd. Our main event is scheduled for 10 rounds as veteran super featherweight Jorge Lara of Guadalajara, Mexico will look to reignite his career when he faces Aram Avanyan of Armenia. The co-feature will see an 8-round lightweight bout between two fighters who have recently toppled undefeated prospects. Angel Vasquez of San Luis Rio Grande, Sonora, Mexico, takes on Mohamed Samaro of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Plus, we'll get another look at two future stars here on ProBox TV. Super featherweight Dominic Valle and welterweight Damontes Juicy Duncan. It all comes your way Wednesday, March 22nd. On your boxing channel, ProBox TV. Tonight, we come to you from Obregon, Sonora, Mexico, from Palenque de la Expo, and our next fight is one that will be a good precursor, I believe, to our main event of the evening. It is scheduled for 6 rounds in the super featherweight division, and once again, Chris, it features 2 young fighters who are off to good starts. Mario Valenzuela, 4-1-1. He is 21 years old. His opponent is this man, Alex Fuentes, 19 years old. Tonight will be his first 6-round fight. Fuentes likes the hometown collision because this is, as we will see in our main event, 2 fighters
do know that they are both fighting in their hometown. They're both Mexicans. This is going to be most likely a barn burner.
And it is also Fuentes who trains with Luis Torres, as we saw a moment ago with Oscar Alvarez Jr. Mario Valenzuela. Mario Valenzuela, a classic tall boxer who likes to use the entire ring, and he likes to shoot out a good jab.
Yeah, hopefully he sticks to that jab a little bit better than we saw in the last fight with Oscar Alvarez. You know, he works with him. Hopefully he's got a little bit of a sharper jab and hasn't been taking too many pages out of the book of Oscar Alvarez and not utilizing that height.
So this is a super featherweight matchup, our tail of the tape for this 6 round fight. Alex Fuentes, 19 years old. Mario Valenzuela, 21 years old. Valenzuela, 3 inches taller. He will have a 6-inch reach advantage. With the official introductions once again from Mexico, here is Pablo Flores.
Damas y caballeros, ProBox TV y Juan Manuel Márquez y su Márquez Promotions presenta a ustedes este cotejo pactado a 6 asaltos en la división de peso super pluma. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for 6 rounds of boxing in the super featherweight division. Your 3 judges scoring this bout on ringside. Sus 3 jueces, Luis García, Miguel Caro y Juan Martínez. Your referee in charge of the action, el tercero en la superficie, Jesús Cota. Introducing first, the fighter standing in the blue corner. He wears the red trunks with white trim. He officially weighs in 130 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina azul, pantaloncillo blanco con rojo, con un peso de 130 libras. He brings a record 4 victories, 1 defeat, 1 draw, and 2 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 4 victorias, 1 derrota, 1 empate y 2 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. De la colonia Sonora, Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, Mario Valenzuela. And his opponent across the ring, standing in the red corner. He wears the black trunks with gold trim. He also weighs in the same 130 pounds. Y su rival en la esquina roja, pantaloncillo negro con dorado, con un peso idéntico de 130 libras. Standing with a record of 4 victories, no defeats, and 1 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 4 victorias, 0 derrotas, y 1 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. De la colonia Pioneros, también de Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, Alex Fuentes. And now giving out the final instructions, con las indicaciones finales, su referee en turno, Jesús Cota. 6 rounds, 6 asaltos.
No golpes en la nuca, no golpes en la espalda, no golpes debajo del cinturón. Si alguno de los dos cae, se va a la esquina neutral más lejana. ¿Sí? Choque los guantes y protéjase siempre.
'19-year-old Oscar Alvarez Jr., a teammate of one of the men who will fight in our main event, Luis Torres. Alex Fuentes, also a teammate of Koreano, Luis Torres. Mario Valenzuela, 21 years old, both men weighed in at 126.7 pounds. Here we go. It's time to fight. Fuentes in the black and gold trunks. Valenzuela in the red and white trunks. This one's scheduled for 6.
5'10", 126-pounder, super featherweight, man. I mean, a featherweight. That's a very, very tall featherweight.
Mike Goldberg, Chris Algieri, the for battles today. He's working the Spanish desk with Claudia Trejos, coming to speak in English to us and doing it brilliantly, Paulie. Your precision is precise tonight.
Doing my best.
You know, I was really schooled for the night I said that against Anderson Silva, but the more I say it, it
makes more
sounds
sense.
Yeah, it makes more sense, right? Let's see what we get in this 6-rounder, and I like it that it's a civil war here too. It's 2 men fighting on home turf, which sets up our main event of the evening.
We already see how many people have packed in there.
Yep.
After the first fight, I mean, that's a good sign.
Oh yeah, man. You know, in Mexico they love boxing.
Fuentes, nice job going to the body, and again.
I tell you, that's the thing with one of the reasons you don't hear in Mexico. You got a guy diving in with a body shot from the outside.
No setup, just dip and rip.
When in doubt, they go to the body in Mexico.
But listen, you got a guy with a long torso like that. It's a big target. That liver's just right there to be hit. So good move on Fuentes' part, attacking that long torso.
And Fuentes is known for those hard hooks from both sides to the opponent's head and body. He likes that classic Mexican style as he eats a jab from Valenzuela.
And Valenzuela with a 73-inch reach as well as a height advantage. You know, you like to see him get more and more busy on that jab. Take advantage of that height.
Seems to be a theme for a taller fighter to utilize the jab. Every fighter, of course, Paulie, but a taller fighter with reach to utilize the jab tonight. I think that's our theme. That's our lesson to young boxers, and a triple jab there.
And then when they do use it, even tonight, it's worked. It's just they're not using it at the right discretion, even, you know. Oh, there's another diving body shot there by Fuentes. He's determined to be physical tonight. You can tell he gets in there, he rips to the body, he's looking to push around and impose himself physically, while Valenzuela is looking to keep it smooth with that jab.
Yeah, I think already we've seen the strategy of both men on display. Valenzuela more fighting off that back foot, using his jab, timing the rushes from Fuentes.
Yes.
And then Fuentes' strategy, get inside. He's rushing in with body shots on both sides. There he gets clipped with a left hand up top. But yeah, he wants to get in the inside and rip shots.
And I like that Valenzuela started with the jab and he finished the combination as he exited with a jab that scored as well.
Yeah, establishing range, in my opinion, is one of the most important things in boxing. You know, whatever range it is you're comfortable at. You know, if you're an inside fighter and you want to be on the inside, well, establish that range, figure out ways to get yourself there in each and every fight.
Suelta a la derecha y te tiras a tu izquierda y cabeceándole inmediatamente y volado a la quijada otra vez cuando cabecea.
They're told Fuentes, you know, get those rights in there and then get underneath. And move that head and get underneath after. You know, because they saw him get hit with that hook at the end of the round.
Here we see some action from that opening round. Here we see Fuentes. We spoke a lot about him rushing in and ripping those body shots. Here we see 3 left hooks to the body there, trying to get that long torso of Venezuela. I'd like to see him use a little bit of a jab to get inside, but he was a little bit effective there, just rushing in.
I'll tell you what, Jim. I'll tell you what he substituted the jab with. He went to the body shot and substituted with a headbutt. The old body shot, headbutt, another type of one, too.
Body shot, headbutt, body shot combo.
It's still a combination, right, guys?
Yeah.
Round number 2, Valenzuela with that reach advantage, as we have established. Red and white trunks, the black and gold trunks for 19-year-old Alex Fuentes. Both men with 4 wins in their young professional careers. Valenzuela's only loss was by split decision, one that he did not agree with. So he's trying to get a big win here tonight in this hometown battle.
I like this little move that Valenzuela's looking he's to land. He's keeping the range, using his jab, actually keep Fuentes off him rather than, you know, score, set things up. And then he's going to rip the uppercut left hook combination, trying to pick the shorter man up and then come back with that left hook to take his head off.
Yeah, that's the thing, Jim. You know, when you're using your jab correctly and it starts to frustrate the opponent, and they'll walk into other traps. They themselves will do you the favor, you know, if it's being done right. And then when you have a height like Valenzuela does, you want to see a guy start to get busy with it, because as you can see, he's very accurate with it when he does use it, and he snaps it out there.
And I like how, you know, something we were missing from the Alvarez fight last fight, who was landing the jab but doing nothing with it. You can see Valenzuela is thinking ahead of the next move.
And again, that triple jab there. Paulie, when you went to join Claudia for a moment, Chris and I, little post-fight analysis, we were talking about Oscar Alvarez when he didn't commit to the jab, Lopez took advantage, and also when he over-committed, that's when he was off balance, his head fell forward, and he fell for it.
And that comes down to that fundamental, don't be front foot heavy. Right. Because, you know, you're going to be there for counter shots over the top of your jab when you're jabbing on your front foot.
The great Southie, Peter Welch, has a gym in Boston, legendary, and he always said, smart feet, smart fighter. And that's one thing we're going to keep an eye on as Oscar Alvarez Jr. continues to evolve as a professional.
Wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
As they say up in Boston, S-M-A-H-T.
That's pretty much how Peter used to say it, too.
The smart fighter in this fight so far has been Valenzuela. He's using that jab, keeping the distance. He's letting his combinations go. And when Fuentes gets too close, he ties him up. Clinching is not illegal. Excessive clinching is. But Valenzuela is using it very smart.
And it's not just one jab and done. It's a double jab there. We've seen a triple jab. And it's a jab that he's committing to as well.
Yep.
And speaking of jab, you know, just because Fuentes is a shorter guy doesn't mean he shouldn't jab. But he seems to think so. You know, he's not using a jab at all. There he uses a kind of half jab more and stepping out of range. Now Fuentes is looking to dive in with body shots, but he's not there. And he's walking into shots like the uppercut, you know? Valenzuela, good sense of timing.
Fuentes going hard, guys, to the body again. Good finish to the round.
Be careful not to get in the way.
Couldn't get the belt. And to your point, Champ, when you don't overcommit on that jab, you're able to see things. Valenzuela is able to see the onrushes of Fuentes, and he's able to pull straight back and get out and make those circular movements.
You see what it creates. The jab creates other things for him.
Muy bien, Mario, estás peleando perfecto, nomás hay que tirar un poquito más, papá. Hay que tirar un poquito. 4, 2 golpes abajo y 2 arriba, rápido. Pistonealo, puro pistoneo.
¡Hola, Seco!
Sí, pistoneando.
So they're telling
¡Hola, Seco!
Valenzuela in the corner, and he's boxing perfectly.
Box,
It would be
tiempo.
Mexico if they didn't give you the next instructions, which is
Mexico.
throw more punches.
Throw the hooks to the body, into the head.
Put more punches to get more combinations together. Add punches to your combinations. Get them to the body. Get to the head. He said the eyes of Fuentes are starting to be affected. He says, so up your output.
So the doctor taking a look at Alex Fuentes, said he's all good to go, and the fight continues.
I think one of those uppercuts might have damaged the nose of Fuentes. We had a lot of blood coming out of that nose as he's coming out of the corner.
And Fuentes comes out aggressively here in this round, guys.
Welcome to another uppercut this round so far. Good smother there by...
Stop!
That's that Clay.
Stop!
Very smart. He knows how to utilize that ring.
And the one thing we saw from Lopez, because it seems like a jab-centric discussion we're having here today with these fights from Mexico,
No estés abrazando.
unlike Lopez, Fuentes isn't throwing that counter jab. He isn't getting out of the way and making his opponent pay. And that is allowing, first of all, Valenzuela's got the distance down, Chris, but that's allowing Mario to feel very comfortable tripling up that jab.
Yeah, you know, Fuentes at this point, he's only fighting at one distance. He's trying to come forward and trying to close that distance. In the last fight with Lopez, he was playing with that distance. He was coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out.
Quiero pelear, pues. Box.
I mean,
There's no jab at all.
You can jab with the jabber. They say, oh, don't hook with the hooker, but jab with the jabber. He's trying to
Haciendo lo mismo,
force his
Mario.
way in with no
Stop.
jab, and all he's doing is walking into more jabs.
Haciendo lo
Because
mismo. No,
Valenzuela
gracias.
sees
No,
how
gracias.
effective the jab is.
Box.
He's actually using it more and more. Look, Fuentes, no jab. There's a word. Finally, there's one.
Yeah, but he's getting tattooed even on the way in. The jab of Valenzuela, he's found a home for that thing.
He should be jabbing right here.
Valenzuela, straight power shots from the outside, shoots out that good jab that we have seen throughout this fight thus far.
Valenzuela looks very comfortable fighting up that back foot, finding his range, keeping his eyes open, seeing shots like that coming.
Fuentes wanted a body shot, couldn't land that time with his opponent up against the ropes. Fight IQ's been impressive thus far for Mario Valenzuela.
And Fuentes is all bloodied up. His blood is all over his face. It's all over Valenzuela as well.
Even there, you saw Valenzuela. He's pushing off. He's boxing well. He knows how to move around that ring.
Yeah, he's sliding away from the shots right there. This is where Fuentes is a bit more predictable too. You know, he likes to go to the body, but it's pretty much there.
Good combination action shoot.
And young in his career, this is the third time fighting at home for Alex Fuentes, but the first time he's fighting unbeaten, so he's taken some O's away. But to give loss number 2 to Valenzuela tonight, Fuentes has got to start to change up things real quickly. And the jab again, once and twice from Mario Valenzuela, and again and again.
Fuentes is a bloody mess. And look, Valenzuela is not trying to punch hard either. He's just putting it out there. Good right hand there. But, ooh, good shot there from Fuentes over the top.
Again, though, Paulie, it's the Valenzuela that time, just the size, that time to bother him, just sticking that jab in the face of his opponent.
Yeah, just enough. I mean, Fuentes does the work for you and walks into it. I give credit to Fuentes, though, in this way. He's not designed himself to lose. He's still trying to win the fight. He's really still trying to bring it.
That was his best round so far, I thought.
Yeah, he turned it up, didn't he, Chris?
Yeah, he landed some good shots there, especially towards the end.
¿Cómo estás? ¿Bien?
Making those overhands and body shots work.
Vamos.
These guys know each other very well.
Valenzuela looking clean in that corner. Not out of breath. Hasn't taken a lot of punishment yet. I don't think we can say the same for his opponent, Alex Fuentes, who's been a bloody mess for the last round and a half.
Yeah, and if he's going to turn his fight around, he's going to probably have to go through it.
Yeah, it looks like that nose is damaged. There's a lot of blood coming from that. You see the coach there squeezing the bridge of the nose.
And it comes right back out. Blood be cleaner and just right back out. It's going to be cleaning.
Never a good sign when the fighter is bleeding on the outlet of his corner after the break in the round. There it is again. That blood's already coming down.
Just don't clear the nose, or the eyes are going to swell up, and that'll be the end of it.
Been there, done that.
Uh-huh.
You learned that one once.
Exactly.
One time. I'm like,
yep.
Now I know.
Little adjustment on the left glove, the tape on the left glove to Mario Valenzuela. I mean, to be quite frank, guys, Mario Valenzuela is using his height in the way that both of you want to see Oscar Alvarez Jr. do as he continues his young professional career.
Yeah, I mean, if you're 5'10" at featherweight and you don't have a jab, what are you doing out there? And Mario Valenzuela does have a jab. He's using the ring very well. That's not a very big ring either, and he's boxing circles around Fuentes.
I'll tell you something else. When you're 5'10" and at featherweight using that jab, you don't even have to have the greatest jab. Just use it, and it's going to be advantageous to you. You know, I look at the way Valenzuela uses his jab. It's not the most intriguing jab, but just the fact that he uses it at that height gives a lot of problems. I
do like how he doubles and triples it up, like you've been saying, Goldie. I mean, he doesn't put it out super fast, like you said, Paul. It's not a brilliant jab by any means, but he's consistent and it's working.
And going back to the point I was making in the first fight, feinting. I mean, when you use your jab and your jab works, the guys die with the feints. I mean, they fight on every single feint. When your jab is effective, your feints are better.
All right, we are in round number 4, second part of this 6-round fight. Paulie, how are your scorecards looking?
I got every round for Valenzuela so far.
Same.
So a shutout being pitched by Mario Valenzuela, looking to move to 5-1-1, looking to score a win in his hometown against the guy he fought in amateurs, and Alex Fuentes. Fuentes in the black and gold trunks, red and white for Valenzuela over the top for Fuentes, and then he follows up to the body.
Está recurriendo mucho al abrazo, señor. Está recurriendo
The referee's given a couple of warnings to Valenzuela for holding. In Mexico, they don't want any holding.
We don't like holders here on ProBox TV either. If you're a runner, you're a holder, you're not going to be featured on your boxing channel, ProBox TV.
Big left hook.
And again, throwing that jab out once, twice.
Keeps the distance, right hand, left hand.
And I say mastering the range. You know, Valenzuela has done a good job of that. When he's using his jab, he's just on the shoestring of the danger zone. Comes back in, shoots, comes back out, has a point that's missing.
And you might say, oh, those punches don't look that hard. Look at the face of Fuentes. He's all busted up.
Yeah.
Nose is bleeding, eye is swollen, both eyes swollen now. Cut under with the right eye.
Yeah, I tell you, man.
And they also put your opponent's offense in neutral, sometimes even in reverse. Although a good right hand thrown by Fuentes.
But I'll tell you what, Valenzuela rolls with a lot of those. Even the ones that are landing there, he's turning with a lot of them. So they may land, but they're not landing the same, like with the amount of intensity that you would think they would if he wasn't rolling with them.
And part of that's coming from how comfortable Valenzuela is. I mean, he looks like he's in the driver's seat, taking his time, throwing his shots out there, rolling with the shots. There's no danger coming from Fuentes.
Sometimes I think Valenzuela almost commits a little too early to some of those sometimes. So if Fuentes would, again, use a feint, get him to start moving that way, you can actually set him up to where he puts himself out of position and make him pay for it.
Ponle hielo ahí, ponle hielo. Ponle hielo. Ponle hielo ahí. Sí. Aquí ponle hielo. En la frente, aquí en la frente. En la frente. Ahí ponle.
Carlos Torres in the corner of Alex Fuentes. You can see he's got his team Koreano shirt on already, getting ready for our main event of the evening for the WBC Latino lightweight title.
La toalla.
Valenzuela, for the most part, guys, brilliant at the basics.
Yeah,
No, go ahead.
the story of the night has been that left jab, the double, triple jab, keeping the distance, just moving around the ring, perfect movement, double, triple jab again. He throws one out, throws another out, throws another out, and Fuentes has no answer.
And he's domesticated it. You see no answer, and he's not even trying to give an answer. He's not even jabbing back.
I mean, looking through bloody nose and swollen eyes, I don't know if he's worried about what's coming back at him. If there's a big shot he can't see, because that's the next step for Valenzuela, is to set up that jab, set up the power shot with that jab.
And Mario Valenzuela suffered his first professional defeat in July of last year. His last fight back in October of last year was a draw. So he is definitely looking and doing a good job of it to return to his winning ways. First fight in 132 days, 4 months and 9 days for Mario Valenzuela.
Nothing like taking somebody's O in their hometown.
You got that right. Especially when you're from that same hometown.
Exactly. Right? When you're across the street.
You're gonna walk around pounding your chest a little bit on the streets of Obregon, Sonora, Mexico, if you're Mario Valenzuela.
In barbershop, trash talk rights.
Apparently everybody in this town can fight, by the way.
Now, yeah. And everybody in this town likes boxing. Look how filled that crowd is.
Yeah. Well, again, our main event, guys, like, buckle up, get ready, because it's coming up next.
Good.
And it's a fight that this town has been begging to see for a long, long time, and it's going to happen with Misael, Cabrera, and Luis Torres, scheduled for 10 rounds with a belt on the line.
This is a
main
fight.
event still to come.
This main event is a fight that once it was announced, I had multiple people reach out to me and say, hey, that's a good fight. People from Mexico, people from that town, people from the West Coast saying this is a good fight. I did my research. I watched these fights. I'm excited too. I've been excited as long as the fans and the people who live there. But the last couple weeks I've been watching these guys fight. I'm looking forward to the main event quite a bit.
Fuentes has had some impressive victories. He has one finish. That was in his professional debut. Last 3 fights have gone to a decision. One of his fights was televised by Canela TV in the World Cup Boxing Series, which highlights the fastest rising stars in boxing and Latin America. So it was a good showcase for Alex. But tonight, the show is being put on by Mario Valenzuela.
Mouthpiece out of the mouth there from Fuentes.
30 seconds remaining in round 5.
You don't want to take that. That's a tooth that might be missing.
I just got all mine put back in place, Paulie. So I don't want to take an uppercut with a mouth.
That was always my worst nightmare. Yeah, never lost a tooth in boxing. And man, I was always scared of that.
I've lost a lot of teeth and other things, but never in a boxing ring. Never getting hit.
Well, I waited all the way till I was 11 years old to lose my first getting cross-checked in the face. So.
Hockey, forget it. You're lucky you have any teeth.
I really don't.
Technically, yeah.
And my dentist has a really nice car. Let's just say that.
Tell you what, that uppercut might have cost Fuentes a couple of teeth. So he might lose the undefeated record tonight, and maybe a tooth or two with that uppercut.
He was having a good round up until that mouthpiece came out, and Valenzuela took full advantage.
Yeah. And he's swollen now. I mean, it's very well damaged.
A lot of that, I believe, is stemming from the nose. A lot of times, you know, you get cracked with a good shot in the nose, you break the nose, both eyes swell. I've had that happen in fights. People are like, man, that was a tough fight. Like, well, no, I just broke my nose in the first round, so I got 2 black eyes. I don't know.
Here's how the mouthpiece went flying, guys.
Yeah, and it's been something that Valenzuela's had success with is this uppercut. It's probably the way that Fuentes' nose got busted, and there he is, nice little left hook. And the problem with Fuentes is he bends down straight, square. He bends down straight, and he bends down square. And you're there for an uppercut when you do that, especially when he's that square.
Yeah, I don't have X-ray vision, but that looks like a broken nose to me. Both eyes swollen, can't control the bleeding at all.
Yeah, the symptoms are all there, Shannon.
And it affects the breathing, needless to say.
Good point.
And the cardio of Alex Fuentes. 6th and final round. Mike Goldberg, Chris Algieri, Paulie Malignaggi. Your team here on Wednesday nights on ProboxTV. Black and gold trunks for Alex Fuentes. He is behind on the scorecards. 4-0, but his O may very well go. Mario Valenzuela, the 21-year-old in the red and white trunks.
And Fuentes, you could tell Fuentes came in with an undefeated record because he's still trying to win all the way to the end. You know, no matter what, no matter the damage, he's going for it right now.
And Paulie, they were 4-round fights, but the last 3 have gone the full 4 rounds for Fuentes. So he is game, and he has fought through some tough rounds to earn his 4-0 start at 19 years old. But he's got to get a finish, needless to say, here with 2 minutes left, because this has been all about Valenzuela.
Yeah, the first minute of this round, though, I mean, he seems like he's gotten past the jab of Valenzuela. He's gotten to the inside. He's ripped a couple good left hooks to the body. Here we see him again, ripping a nice combination as he has Valenzuela against the ropes. Seems like he's gotten past the jab, or Valenzuela's just not throwing it as much.
Don't take it for granted. If you're an A-side on ProboxTV, don't take it for granted that you're getting a win.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's because here on ProboxTV, we have the A-side, and then we have the other good song on the other A-side, Paulie, right?
Yeah, we don't have a red and blue corner here. We got 2 purple corners.
That's it. Good fighters, great fights, and our main event should be a classic confrontation. Under 90 seconds remains in this 6-round super featherweight bout.
And as Fuentes tries harder and harder, yes, he's had some success in some ways, but also he's walking into more shots because it's getting to the point of desperation for him, and he's not worried about being desperate because again, when you have an undefeated record, you're that hungry, and you'll go for it all the way to the end.
Yeah, I don't think it's been conditioning either that's affected Fuentes. He's still going hard in the 6th round, even with that busted nose. But it's just it's been the success of the jab of Valenzuela. I think that's the story of the fight tonight.
I mean, to simplify things, Oscar Alvarez Jr.'s team will probably play the tape of Mario Valenzuela's utilization of the jab tonight and say, this is what we want you to do, kid.
I sure hope so.
Right?
If they don't, somebody should tell them to.
That's exactly it. I think we just nicely did, right?
Yeah, we'll
30 seconds.
Go send him a video of this. Ooh, good body shot.
Still, much to your point, though, Paulie, aggressive till the end.
Yeah. The thing is, he's following. He's a cut off the ring. I mean, granted, it's late, but I mean, don't follow around. He's following around. He's allowing Valenzuela to turn the corner. And when Valenzuela turns the corner, he gets that jab pumping again.
Best round of the fight for Fuentes, but too little, too late.
You're nothing to say before now.
They go the distance.
Nice little scrap.
Yes. And fun to watch the technical fight that Mario Valenzuela utilized and the proper use of the jab throughout almost the full 6. You guys talked about maybe he got a little lazy with it in the 6th, but it's fun to watch a young boxer whose technique is very, very perfected. And I mean, doubling up triple jabs from Mario Valenzuela, certainly the difference in this fight.
Yeah, I certainly liked what I saw from Valenzuela. He stuck to the game plan. He set it out early. He said, I'm the taller man, the longer man. I'm going to use my jab. He found success early. Didn't get away from it. Yeah. Stayed calm, tied his man up when he needed to, and he got too close because Fuentes was a good puncher. Seemed like he was ripping those hooks pretty hard. I actually gave him the last round. He really pushed. He got past the jab, like I said. But all in all, I mean, I think Valenzuela ran away with this.
This one should be a lot easier for the judges to score.
Mario, cuéntale aquí. Dame la tijera,
This action tonight, with Valenzuela and Fuentes, the aggressiveness of Fuentes early on, he tried to establish a body attack, but it eventually just became Valenzuela walking into him into some shots with the aid of the jab. The jab was really frustrating Fuentes. He started getting more and more desperate, and he started getting more and more reckless, and Valenzuela was taking advantage of that. Good defense there by Valenzuela as well. He was able to use his legs to keep Fuentes out of range and reaching, and then it got to the point where that jab was just starting to domesticate Fuentes more and more. You see he's frustrated. He's a bloody mess. He's just out of answers as he takes those jabs. Last round, Fuentes gave a little bit more effort, but you saw the uppercut there that knocked out the mouthpiece of Fuentes. the round before the last. Ultimately, that was the story of the fight. Good jabs by Valenzuela, and he'd make Fuentes pay when he finally did get close.
The official decision is in. The judges have turned in their scorecards, and we are ready to hear the official decision. Live from Mexico, here is Pablo Flores.
And ladies and gentlemen, this bout has gone the distance of 6 rounds. And now we go to the judges' scorecards for the final decision. Damas y caballeros, después de 6 rounds de combate, nos vamos con la decisión de los jueces. No sin antes un fuerte aplauso para ambos pugilistas, Mario Valenzuela y él, Alex Fuentes, por este gran combate aquí en Ciudad Obregón. El juez, Judge Luis García, he scores it 60-54, 60-54. And judges Juan Martínez and Miguel Caro had an agreement. 58-57, 58-56. For your winner by the way of unanimous decision. Su vencedor por la vía de la decisión unánime. Colonia Sonora, Ciudad Obregón.
Back to his winning ways, unanimous
y también fuerte reconocimiento para su rival de la colonia Pioneros, Alex Fuentes.
He hands the 19-year-old Alex Fuentes the first loss of his young professional career. Congratulations to Mario Valenzuela. 2 men fighting in their hometown, a civil war which sets up the storyline of our main event perfectly. And congratulations to Mario Valenzuela, the 5th win of his professional career. So it is now time for our main event of the evening. Highly anticipated 10-rounder for the WBC Latino lightweight title. It is Luis Koreano Torres, 17-0, 10 wins, coming the way of knockout against 13-1 Misael Cabrera, who has also finished 10 of his wins by knockout. First fight at home since 2017 for Cabrera. Torres wants to say, don't come home and fight me here because I am going to be the show tonight. Mike Goldberg, the former world champion, Chris Algieri. Chris, you said you were getting some texts from your friends about this fight. Why were they so excited, and are you as excited now because of it?
I mean, they're excited because of what I saw from the tapes watching their past fights. These guys are all action fighters, and then you add in the fact that they're fighting in their hometown. They're both from there. The bragging rights are completely on the line here. I mean, both guys are going to definitely go all the way in on fight night. They've been going in during training camp. But like I said, I had people reaching out and be like, hey, man, that's a good fight. Good job calling that one. That's going to be a lot of fun. So here we are.
I would say, so here's the quote from Torres. A high-level fight fans have waited to see for a long time. We prepared like never before. We are ready for war. This has been the best camp of my career. Oh, by the way, Cabrera, it's going to be a war. This will be a fight that you cannot miss. Camp has been great. I'm in the best shape of my life.
I love it. I heard all this stuff before the fighter meetings. The fighter meetings come, they both say exactly what I had heard. So, I mean, it's a can't miss.
Well, it's nice to see at 23 years old and 21 years old, a real crossroads fight. Because one of these men, I mean, Cabrera's only loss was outside of Mexico. It was a 10-round loss to Montreal's fighter in Montreal. So he feels like that one should have gone his way. Nonetheless, this is the one where one guy's going to walk around pounding his chest for the next, well, until a potential rematch.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we all go through this when we're coming up. We're young fighters. You have that prospect versus prospect matchup. And one of you is going to go to contender status. One of you is going to drop a couple rungs and have to start over again. Neither one of these guys wants to start over. They want to take that next step of their career. A win here tonight is going to catapult that man to that next step.
And we talked about some multiple storylines, some potential bad blood in this matchup. But as you pointed out at the top of the show, Chris, it's Cabrera doing the Conor McGregor. He's pushing all the buttons.
And apparently from my friends who are from that town, they said he's the man around town. So, you know, the bad blood, according to Torres, is on the Cabrera side. But also from what I heard from my friends there, he's the guy that everybody likes. So let's see what that equates to when they're in the ring.
Well, it certainly is a great matchup. It's one that highlights our Wednesday night fights with the contact of our own Hall of Famer, Juan Manuel Marquez Promotions. First fight at home, as I mentioned, for Cabrera in 5 years, 9 months, and 10 days. So not only the biggest fight of his career, but he finally gets to entertain the crowd in which, like you said, that he has established himself as the man with.
Yeah, I mean, he's a road warrior.
Yeah.
He's built his career on going into other people's backyards and getting the win. Now he's coming into his own backyard to go try and take the O off of someone who's fighting in their own backyard as well.
Yes, and so we are set for our main event of the evening. The WBC Latino lightweight title is on the line. You're looking live at Palenque de la Expo in Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, Mexico. It's a city in southern Sonora. It is 330 miles from the border of the United States. Torres, 17-0. He is the owner of the belt right now, looking to defend it for the very first time. It's his eyes that have gained him the nickname of Koreano. Last fight was a unanimous decision victory over Cesar Flores. The interesting thing when it comes to Torres, 3 of his last 4 of his last 6 fights, Chris, have gone the full 10-round distance.
For Torres to be victorious tonight and take home the hometown title, he needs to move his head. He's very aggressive. He's not like a traditional slick southpaw. He comes forward, he throws both hands, but he actually has pretty good head movement. And when he utilizes that, he gets in without taking any damage. Next, use the right hook. The right hook from the southpaw position is a very sneaky punch that a lot of orthodox fighters don't see. And the punch you don't see is the one that hurts you the most. Also, keep your punches short. Your opponent, Cabrera, likes to wing hooks with both hands. There's going to be a lot of opportunities for Torres to punch in between those wide shots of his opponent, Cabrera.
So those are the keys to victory for Luis Torres. Here is his opponent, 23-year-old Misael Cabrera. 13 wins, 10 by knockout. He's aggressive. He is smart. He sticks and moves on the outside until he's given a chance to showcase some sharp counters, and he rebounded from the disappointment in Montreal, Quebec, Canada with a 5th-round finish in his last fight in November of last year. Keys to victory for Cabrera.
For Cabrera to be victorious tonight and take home the hometown honors, he needs to snap the jab. Like you mentioned, he fights off his back foot pretty well. He has a tendency to kind of paw that jab, gives up his height and his reach. Next, stay off the ropes. He tends to move around the ring. He can actually walk himself to the ropes at times. If he does that with Torres, Torres is really going to let those hands go. He likes to run those combinations when he gets his man in front of you or has them on the ropes. Last, his uppercut is by far his best punch, and he throws it well off both hands. That's going to be a major weapon for him if he's going to be victorious tonight, and I believe there's going to be openings for him in between the combination punching of Torres.
Mike Goldberg, Chris Algieri, Paulie Malignaggi set for our main event of the evening on a Wednesday night on ProBox TV. Our tale of the tape for this 10-round WBC Latino lightweight title fight. Misael Cabrera is 23 years old, 2 years the elder of Luis Torres. 1 inch taller is Cabrera. They both weighed in at 134.9, a slight reach advantage for 17-0 Luis Torres. Once again with the official introductions, let's get it to Pablo Flores.
It's time for boxing, and it's time to rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your main event of the evening. set for 10 rounds of boxing for the WBC Latino Lightweight Championship. Damas y caballeros, este es el combate estelar de esta noche. Pactado a 10 asaltos por el Campeonato Latino de los Pesos Ligeros del CMB. Sanctioned by the WBC President. Sancionado por el CMB, el presidente Mauricio Suleiman. Supervisor in attendance, supervisor en turno de la Ciudad de México, Abraham Ibarra. Your 3 judges scoring this bout in ringside. Sus 3 jueces. De Ciudad Obregón, Esteban Soto. De Hermosillo, Sonora, Martín Canizales. Y de Mexicali, Baja California, Adriana Guillón. Your referee in charge of the action. Su referee para medir las acciones. De Obregón, Sonora, Francisco Laviaga. All right, boxing fans, let's get ready. Ahora bien, amigos que nos acompañan a través de la señal de ProboxTV, estamos en vivo desde el Palenque de la Expo, desde la siempre cálida Ciudad Obregón, Sonora, México. ¡Ajusten sus cinturones! Entries into your first. The fighter standing in the blue corner. He wears the black trunks with gold trim. He officially weighs in 135 pounds. Presentando ustedes en la esquina azul, pantaloncillo color negro con oro, con un peso de 135 libras. In 14 pro bouts, he stands with a record, a near perfect one. 13 victories, 1 lone defeat, and 10 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 13 victorias, 1 derrota y 10 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the challenger. Damas y caballeros, con ustedes el retador, Colonia 410, Ciudad Obregón, Misael Pichon Cabrera. And his opponent across the ring is standing in the red corner. He wears the white trunks with red trim. He also weighs in the same 135 pounds. Y su rival en la esquina roja, pantaloncillo blanco con rojo, con un peso de 135 libras. In 17 pro bouts, he stands perfect. 17 victories, no defeats, and 10 of those victories coming by the fast way of knockout. Presenta un récord de 17 victorias, 0 derrotas y 10 de esas victorias por la vía del knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the WBC Latino Lightweight Champion. Damas y caballeros, con ustedes, el campeón defensor peso ligero latino del CMB. Colonia Cajeme, Ciudad Obregón, Sonora. Luis Koreano Torres. And now the final instructions, dando las indicaciones finales, su referee en turno, Francisco Laviaga. 10 rounds, 10 asaltos.
Señores, investigadores, ya platicamos las reglas del Consejo Mundial de Boxeo. Protéjanse siempre, chocan los guantes, que gane mejor.
The wait is finally over. Luis Torres and Misael Cabrera. 10 rounds. Fighting for the belt, now owned by Torres, the WBC Latino lightweight title belt. Southpaw against Orthodox. Here we go. It's time to fight. Torres in the white and red trunks. He is the southpaw who turned and took up boxing at age 12, turned professional at age 16. Cabrera, he is in the black trunks. Orthodox 68-inch reach. He also owns a WBC regional belt. Mike Goldberg, the Magic Man, Paulie Malignaggi, former two-time world champion, former world champion, Chris Algieri. Glad to be here on your boxing channel. We don't promote boxers, we promote boxing here on ProBox TV.
Right away, interesting tactic from Torres, moving into the power hand of Cabrera. Normally a southpaw, you're going to move to the outside, you move away from that right hand. He's circling to his left, right into the power hand of Cabrera.
Both men well prepared. Both men got the call plenty early. And as we have talked about on multiple occasions, both men have been waiting for this heated rivalry. Bad blood or not, it's still a heated rivalry to take place. The fight everyone has been waiting for.
When you're two guys in the same city, you know, in soccer we call it a derby. That's going to be a rivalry whether you dislike each other or not.
And you can see in the crowd when they were being announced, it's a very split crowd. Both men had a lot of people in attendance for them tonight.
Yeah, it might be a derby, but I don't think it's a friendly, Paulie.
No.
Did not look like it from the stare down, that's for sure.
Nothing friendly about it. Still trying to find the first big shot of the fight to land. Both guys having a good feel out around. A little check hook there by Torres.
Torres has a natural ability and a gift for aggression, and he's used it to overcome previous foes.
Yeah, you don't have to look for Torres. He generally comes out of the corner and meets you in yours. He's just that kind of fighter. He wants to be right in front of you. He moves his head quite well for someone who's so aggressive. But yeah, he's going to be right in front all night long.
And Magic Man, while you were working, setting up the main event with Claudia Trejos on our Spanish broadcast, we talked about with Torres and Cabrera the great opportunity for exposure as well. Here on ProBox TV, to have this platform to showcase their skills is spectacular. What was really interesting is both men said, this is the best camp I've ever had. This is the most prepared I've ever been. This is the best shape I've ever been in. They basically gave us the same pre-fight interviews.
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody ever goes into a fight, even if it hasn't been a great camp, talking about that it was a bad camp, because nobody wants that reported and then your opponent finds out, you know. So either way, you'll always tell the media you had a great camp. But both guys seem prepared tonight, you know. So far, not a lot of big shots have landed. Both guys seem very prepared as they sort of having a very big feel-out process here in the early going.
I essentially scored that round off of body language. I just felt that Koreano was more comfortable. He looked like he knew what he wanted to do. And Cabrera, he just had a look on his face like it was a little bit like deer in headlights. He didn't know what to do. He had someone in front of him that was very aggressive. Neither man landed pretty much anything, but I don't know. Koreano just looked more comfortable to me.
Yeah, it's a good point, Chairman. So like Koreano was trying to find something and trying to create it, while Cabrera was more so like waiting for it to happen.
They have sparred in the past. Cabrera said of Koreano, I didn't learn much. I don't know what he means by that. It might have been a little bit of dig. It might have been, it was a sparring session, so not a lot was shown. Cabrera saying, I've known Torres for a long time. I expect him to be in great shape for this fight. He's strong, he's fast, but even that won't be enough to beat me. Koreano Luis Torres, 17-0. Misael Cabrera, 13-1. Round 2. The southpaw Torres in the white and red trunks, black trunks for Cabrera.
Something to look out for from Torres is that check right hook over the top. He tried it a few times in the first round. He just came out in this round. There's another one. And that's one of his better punches. And for the orthodox fighter fighting in southpaw, that's a very dangerous punch. It leaves your field of vision. And the shot you don't see is the one that hurts the most. Making that right hook from a southpaw position very, very dangerous.
You see the explosiveness, the athleticism of Torres on that last combination.
Yeah, he's looking for it. He's looking for that shot over the top.
Yeah, you'd like to see Cabrera start throwing some straight right hands or even some overhand rights, but he's got to get in range to do it. And he's coming up short. He's throwing them too far away. And Torres has a good command of the ring and a good command of the distance. Nice body shot there by Torres.
From what I've seen from Cabrera, he likes to punch really wide. He's a looping shot kind of guy. He makes it effective. There's that right hook, yeah. Ooh, good straight right hand down the middle from Cabrera.
He definitely likes to stick and move on the outside, Chris, as you pointed out, until he's given a chance to throw those sharp counters. Torres, again, engaging first.
And Cabrera needs to start answering back. You know, he's got to, even at closer middle range, you know, he's not being first. Even right here, you know, we know Torres has the speed advantage. We know Torres has that rhythm to him. But Cabrera at this range has to start getting off first at times. I mean, I understand it's not going to happen every time because Torres has the speed advantage, but you got to get off first and you got to start sort of establishing yourself a little bit in this fight.
Oh, with a big left hand.
That's not going to help him. That's not going to help Cabrera establish him.
That was a good shot.
You know, you mentioned a good point, Champ, the deer in headlights thing. I mean, it's almost like he can't get started. I don't know, maybe the crowd has him a little bit, you know, too emotional or whatnot. Torres is in a better rhythm, and his hands are flowing better.
Well, I noticed even at the stare down, Cabrera looked stone cold. He looked very, very aggressive, very mean. And Koreano was actually laughing. He was smiling at him and saying, like, almost like, relax, dude.
This is the 5th straight fight at home for Torres.
That'll get the confidence going.
There you go. And it's been a long time since Cabrera's fought at home, so
there's those looping shots I was
trying
going for.
to find it.
Yeah, he paid for them.
Yep. He looped too wide. And Torres able to stifle him and knock him down.
He's hurt.
Round 2.
Definitely on unsteady legs.
Yeah, and that because he threw those wide shots.
Yep.
Paid for them.
That's what he does.
Missed a bunch of them, which wins you out, by the way. And then they took the counter in return.
When he straightens that right hand out, he's actually had success. He caught Torres multiple times with the straight left,
including
straight right hand.
that knockdown. Yeah. I mean, I think it surprises Torres. He's throwing wide.
Great flurry to end the round from 17-0, Luis Torres. We got ourselves a fight.
Good action in that round. In the first round, which was basically a feeling round number 2.
Todavía no son los que te entregas, todavía no es, no caigan en su pelea, pues. No caigan en su juego, ¿está bien? Perfecto, perfecto, no caiga, se va a entregar solo, pues.
They're telling Cabrera, don't fall for his game. You know, don't play his game.
Hey, está bien, carnal, repórtalo. Hey, escúchame. Agua.
Some action from that last round, round number 2, where the fight actually broke out. There you see both men exchange left hands. Torres's was bigger. It was straight through right down the line. That was the first shot that caught Cabrera. And then down over here, we see the right hook, which is the punch that I was calling for all night long from Torres. Cabrera got a little too anxious, throwing big wide shots with both hands. Gets clipped with the right hook that he didn't see right in the temple. Puts him down. Had him up on shaky legs for the rest of the round.
So feeling out round 1 and a big round 2 for Luis Torres. Round number 3. Both men have finished their opponents 10 times in their professional career.
Let's see if Cabrera's legs this round. You know, he took a pretty strong knockdown at the end of the last round. See if he can get something going here. And Torres will be confident. Nice left hand there by Torres. He will be confident having scored that knockdown late in the last round. We'll see how he picks up that momentum and if he takes it into this round.
Champ, you've been calling for feints all night long. Koreano's actually been feinting quite well these last couple rounds.
Yeah, and it's usually those guys with those snappy hands that usually do feint, you know? And when you have the snappy punches and they come out snappy and quickly, your feints, again, are more, guys will bite on those feints more because your speed will have guys paranoid.
And we're seeing something from Torres that I noticed in his last couple fights. He does have some good boxing ability. He's got some nice chops and his ability to be smooth and have good rhythm. He doesn't do it often because he's usually just trying to blow guys out. But here he's actually he has to dig into his boxing bag a little bit, and I'm impressed. There's that check hook again.
Yep, you called it earlier, Chris, and he utilized it perfectly there. That'll get your opponent thinking the next time he moves forward.
Yeah, the deer in headlights got hit by the car.
Yep. Cabrera ran off 9 consecutive knockouts to open his professional career, 5 in the first, 4 in the second. Only 1 stoppage since then. That was in his last fight back in November. The last 2 fights for Torres have gone the full 10 rounds. This one's scheduled for 10. Over the top with that left hand by Torres.
That was a nice attempt and a good setup because he landed the left hand to the body and then looked down, went and threw it up. Very, very, very smart tactic there from Torres.
Cabrera got that right to land on the chin of his opponent.
I'd like to see more right hands from Cabrera. You know, he's had a little bit of success with it this round, landed a couple of them. He's just not been busy enough for me, for my liking.
Yeah, when he straightens that thing out, it's actually been effective.
I think it surprises Torres when it's straight, because Cabrera usually throws wide. He throws a straight shot here and there. I think Torres gets a little bit surprised by it.
From my tape review, literally the first straight right hand that Cabrera's ever thrown was in this fight.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing, man. A lot of times he falls in with his head too. I was wondering about a clash of heads this fight, you know. Because Cabrera, he's another one of these guys who's on the front foot.
There's that nice head movement on the way in from Torres, changing levels.
As you mentioned, he's boxing, and he's using his skill set, setting things up nicely. And another good round for Luis Torres. Got a little bit more pushback from Cabrera there, but still it seems like Koreano is in control here through 3.
Big smile in the corner there from Torres.
Corner's telling Torres he's fighting intelligently. And some of that action. I found a nice little body shot here. It didn't land as good as we thought it was in the when we were calling it live. It actually kind of landed a little bit on the shoulder, a little bit below the shoulder.
Koreano's boxing hero, countryman Jose Luis Ramirez, a southpaw, by the way, former WBC lightweight title holder. And Luis said it's because he fought the best. Ramirez, 102 wins, 82 knockouts. He was a gym mate and a friend of Julio Cesar Chavez, and they actually fought in October of 1988. If the gym mates can go, then these guys from the same town, Paulie, can go.
Absolutely. 102 when he should be 101 because he robbed Pernell Whitaker.
Oh, big left hand there from Cabrera on the inside.
He did go 1-1 against Pernell Whitaker, Paulie.
Yeah, should have been 0-2.
Yeah, should have been 0-2. That was one of the worst robberies I've ever seen.
So then it would have been all 10 losses coming against Hall of Famers, not all 9.
Yeah, well, no, actually, because he already had the loss of Pernell. He lost the rematch, so we include him as a Hall of Famer that beat him.
There you go. There you go. Fought Hector Camacho, lost the title to Camacho back in 1985. Fought Ray Boom Boom Mancini in 1981. And Alexis Arguello in 1980. Right now, though, it's about Torres.
Alexis Arguello, one of my favorites, El Flaco Explosivo.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'll tell you what, Camacho before the Rosario fight is an insane fighter. I mean, Jose Luis Ramirez caught that Camacho, and it was Camacho did a number on him.
The bad man.
And we've talked about Arguello before, and certainly a legend, as is Jose Luis Ramirez, who's going to walk around pounding their chest after this battle in their hometown. So far, it's Luis Torres.
Although Cabrera's having a pretty decent round here. He's being more elusive. He's more comfortable.
He's given that head movement. I like to see some punching off that head movement. Oh, good right hand. Again, that straight right hand surprises Torres, although he comes back with a combination himself.
That's one thing about Torres, though. When you're in front of him, he throws combinations, and they're short and tight. Cabrera's much loopier. Head down, throwing shots.
Cabrera trying to walk Torres back into the corner and throw some more body shots.
That might be the best bet for Cabrera. Try to make this a physical fight, grueling fight. You know, make it a little rough, make it a little, you know, don't make it so clean. And maybe Torres will get frustrated and start, you know, making errors out of frustration.
Yeah, you can tell Torres is the more polished guy, so I agree, Paulie. Make this a brawl, get your head in there, swing those wide shots. I mean, he does just duck his head and throw looping shots, so go with what works for you.
Thing is, he can't wait out. You know, he's got to do it. He's got to do more of that. Because if you're waiting on a speedy guy like Torres, he's eventually going to, you know, start being first again and dictate the pace. So off this head movement, I like to see some punching too. You know, a lot of times you see guys moving the head. I think it's just defensive, but it can also use that as a decoy. Oh, nice body shot.
Dug that right hand into the rib cage of Misael Cabrera. Pace is picking up here, guys.
Aire. Se le acabó la presión. Se le acabó la presión. Tú apenas empiezas. Está bueno. Relaja tu mente. Todo está perfectamente bien. Esta pelea no vamos a llevar de menos a más. Comienza a presionar un poquito más. Con tu cintura derecha primero. Es rápida, es perdida para que la ira. Hey, úsala no como golpe. Nomás tiende y para atrás.
There's a nice shot there from Cabrera, but then the answer from Torres, letting those hands go. I said if he gets Cabrera along the ropes, he's going to let his hands go. Here we see him moving backwards and firing off that backward movement too. Very difficult to see a guy move forward and throw combinations, land punches, and then fight off the back foot as well. And we saw all that in one sequence from Torres. So far, so good for Koreano.
Yes, for sure. Koreano from a large family in Obregon. Had a particularly difficult childhood growing up. At one point, 10 people living in the same house between brothers, aunts, nephews, and grandparents. And his brother, Carlos Torres, is his trainer. And the cut man tonight for Luis Torres is his uncle.
Family affair.
It is a family affair. They all live together, so they might as well work this biggest fight of his career together.
10 people in a house sounds like the Algeria complex. That's, we call it the compound. There's 11 of us.
That's a lot of people. In one house. Round number 5. This fight scheduled for 10.
Catch and shoot there by Cabrera.
Yep. Cabrera definitely more aggressive in the last round, and here early in this round, straight right.
Yeah, Cabrera's been willing himself back into this fight. He had a disastrous second round where he got dropped. It was looking like he was being outclassed. And then he came back these last 2 rounds. I actually gave him the last round, the 4th. And now he just landed a huge left hook.
So you have a 3-1, Chris?
I have a 3-1 with the extra point for the knockdown.
Yep.
Round number 2 for
10-8. Yep.
For Torres.
Oh, look at Torres go body head. Something that if you've watched his previous fights, he loves to do.
Yeah, very good balance when he throws combinations. He's a good combination puncher. He picks his spots well. He punches to the head and to the body. And like I said, his balance is fantastic. So he's able to rip long combinations and stay on balance. Stay in position.
If you're a young boxing fan sitting with mom or dad watching the fights tonight on ProboxTV, you can pick a lot of things up from balance, front foot, using the jab properly or not using the jab enough. All of the fighters tonight have shown some different things, and it's a great lesson to younger fighters. You don't get much younger than 23 and 21, but it's a great showcase here on ProboxTV of the talents of these young fighters looking to be the next big Mexican name, as Torres just able to slip that right hand.
Well, then you mentioned jabs. I mean, the whole time you were talking, I was watching if Torres was going to use the jab. He has not used the jab in a while. I mean, it's almost like he's become frustrated with Cabrera's awkwardness and Cabrera's ability to land these weird shots. And as I'm talking, he's still not throwing his jab. He's just doing a lot of, I don't know what he's doing, but he's not doing anything.
Yeah, he really let Cabrera off the hook. He had him really hurt and was really outclassing him in those first couple rounds. And now, like you said, Cabrera just being awkward has gotten his way back in there, landing big shots. He's obviously a good puncher too. But yeah, if you're really letting it go.
If you're a technical fighter, I mean, I don't think he's throwing a jab only 2 minutes. If you're a technical fighter, I mean, the basis of your technique should be off your jab. Could it be an injury?
He hasn't broken his smile the whole night, so I don't know.
So his jaw's okay.
Giving a little strut back to his corner, but I don't think he did anything. He looks happy.
Paulie, you like that round from Cabrera?
Yeah, I think Cabrera's working his way back into this fight. Talk about the awkwardness of Cabrera and how he's starting to, become more effective. There's a nice little catch and shoot there, really, really well timed, as he catches it on the glove and then comes back with a nice hook. See Torres trying to return fire. A lot of throw punches thrown, but not much of them landing. Maybe partially landing with a body shot, and maybe the shot up top that was caught partially on the glove, but moving his hands, but nothing really got through there.
You mentioned soccer and a derby earlier. Torres, when not boxing, plays for a local team in a league in his hometown, where he is boxing here tonight, and he is a striker. Luis Torres. If anything rough starts in that soccer match, I have a feeling you want Luis Torres on your team.
Yeah, but I bet half the team can box.
That's actually a good point, Chris. That's actually a really good point. He wouldn't be the only guy who knows how to box in that matchup, right?
Yeah, exactly. See, I mean, I would assume every boxer also plays soccer.
Yeah, in Mexico,
exactly.
two big sports.
Well, it's like Barbie Juarez and her sisters. Their brothers all high-level soccer players in Mexico. The sisters all world champions. One of them in bare knuckle, and Barbie a true legend. And Dad works with the soccer team. The boys went to soccer, and his daughters all became very good and decorated boxers. Little tape adjustment.
How's that possible?
As this continues.
They just fixed it. Yeah, how's that possible?
Yeah.
It was back off again.
I was going to say that it was starting to heat up too. Torres landed a nice jab, and then Cabrera landed an answering right hand. I mean, we got to keep this action going.
Round number 6, Misael Cabrera for the Latino lightweight belt that is on the line tonight is the challenger. He's in the black trunks. He's come on in these last 2 rounds, as Paulie and Chris have talked about, white and red trunks for 17-0, Luis Torres.
And it seems the more awkward that Cabrera gets, the more success he has, and the less that Koreano does.
Yeah, Koreano, nice counter right hand there by Cabrera. He's starting to get some good timing shots in Cabrera. He doesn't look like, you know, much of a technical fighter with all his awkwardness that he does. But you know what? There's a bit of technique to him and a good sense of timing to him.
You know, and I said that he throws looping shots. I didn't mean it in a bad way. You know, there are a lot of fighters that make that effective, and if you need to have good timing, like you said, champ, and it seems like he does. There it is again. It's offbeat rhythm, but it's timing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, he knows how to make it work. And it's starting to work, and it's starting to tell you what else is doing. It's starting to confuse Koreano Torres. He's starting to put his hands in his pocket and just taking pictures, watching.
This is the most effective Cabrera I've seen. Even good right hand jab there from Koreano that I've seen from Cabrera. In other fights, I didn't see this facet of his style.
Somebody's got to learn to put on tape and on the glove. It's coming off again.
Yeah, this is we can't be having a break in the action like this. These guys are really starting to heat up and finding their rhythm. I don't like that at all.
And if you are going to need a little tape adjustment, you want it to be when you need to take a little break. It's the momentum that Cabrera is carrying in these last few rounds, and you can see just from the body language, as you guys talked about, Cabrera's confidence is skyrocketing.
And he back lands the right hand, and then in the clenches, he's his hand moving. I don't know why the ref is trying to break them there, because it was Torres doing the holding, and Cabrera's trying to punch with his free hand. You know, you can't hold the hand if you're doing the holding, but if you're being held, you're trying to punch with the free hand you have. That's allowed.
Cabrera wasn't having the break, that's for sure. He's fired a hard right hand with no lead and been successful at that the last couple of rounds as well.
That's based off what Paulie was saying. That even head movement can be your lead to the punch that you don't see. I mean, he's got that offbeat rhythm. He gets his head offline. You get mesmerized by that awkward head movement. Next thing you know, a right hand's hitting you in the mouth.
He's starting to slip some punches.
Yep. Good avoidance.
Right hand.
Yep.
A little rough stuff afterwards. He's got a little bit of a recipe here for what he wants to do. And it's starting to earn him some rounds.
He is definitely, the deer in headlights is gone. He has found his rhythm.
Settled into his first fight at home in over 5 years, and starting to look like who you said he is considered at the top of the show, Chris, as the man. Because when he walks around his hometown, which is the same hometown as his opponent, it's Cabrera who has got his shoulders pumped and he's got his chest all pumped up. He's considered the man, and he's made this a fight.
Yeah, Torres is doing a lot of smiling. You know, he started out doing a lot of punching, but lately it's been a lot of smiling and getting hit and missing and being frustrated. So I really think he needs to right the ship here and take a hold of those reins, because he has allowed Cabrera back into this fight on my scorecard.
I tell you what, there's also energy in Cabrera's corner too.
Yes.
You know, there's always energy. They're always keeping him at a certain level, keeping him motivated. I don't know. Torres goes into the corner smiling, and a lot of times there's not much urgency, doesn't seem to me, in that corner.
Round number 7, our main event of the evening, scheduled for 10 for the WBC Latino lightweight title.
Yeah, good shot there by Cabrera a few seconds ago.
Cabrera trying to work his way back into this fight. And if you look at the scorecards alone, that knockdown in round number 2 could become a big factor in the numbers game.
Yeah, it's the only thing separating the fight for me. I have it 57-56 to Torres, and that 1 point being from the knockdown. It would be an even fight on my scorecard if not for that knockdown round number 2.
That's kind of what I was thinking, but you made it sound so much better. Thank you, Chris.
Well, I have the scorecard in front of me. So.
Well, you know.
We know what I don't like what's going on here for Team Torres is he's not setting any kind of pace.
No, keep it again with the glove.
Oh, well, here we go.
Dude, we gotta find out what tape that is so we can tell anybody at home never to buy it.
We're gonna bankrupt the company because based on this telecast.
And look, they went to a different tape now. Look, they got themselves. They had to go to a different role. Look, there's no advertisement on that tape.
I've never seen a tape come off like that so regularly. But back
again, it's working against Cabrera because he's the one who's building up the momentum.
But back to my point is that the way Cabrera's fighting. I mean, the way Cabrera's fighting. It's not a heavy pace because Torres isn't really doing much these last couple of rounds. So, Cabrera's really stealing these rounds, and he could steal this fight.
A little headbutt there by Cabrera as well. Oh,
good body shot.
Tends to come with the awkward guys.
One of the throws to the body nicely.
Seems to come with everybody on this card tonight.
Yeah. Well, everything's been a righty lefty matchup. Oh, there's that right hand I talked about, guys.
That hurt him.
That snapped his head back.
Yeah, and Cabrera getting more and more confident.
Oh, rightfully so.
He's trying to get that knockdown back, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's got Torres hurt, I believe. Yeah, he's not looking as clever and smooth.
Again with the right hand on the jaw of his opponent. Another good round for Misael Cabrera.
If Torres was playing the smile going back to the corner this time, I think Cabrera might have changed those plans.
Both men very aggressive, putting on a show in a fight that they both said the fans in their hometown, Obregon, Sonora, Mexico, have waited for a long time.
A little trash talk for them.
I mean, could you have a bad blood fight without the trash talk?
Absolutely not. Got to have a storyline, and this one does.
Yeah, do a little bit of drooling on the part of Cabrera now. That's it.
We got it all in this one. Not for the faint of heart, this fight.
Got that right.
Is it hanging off his chin?
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Torres comes in with a nice combination. 15 seconds on the clock here in round number 7.
Yes.
Cabrera has the crowd on his side now. You can just tell.
And the momentum.
Cabrera did something smart too. As you heard the 10 seconds happen, he started taking the action over to his own corner. That way when the bell rings, he has the bench right on his the stool ready for him to sit down on, while Torres has to walk all the way across the ring and lose precious seconds.
Excellent point. Excellent point. And send classy move from Cabrera. Make him walk. Cabrera has been running away with these last couple of rounds, and that straight right hand was something that's actually been effective all night long. There's the headbutt too that Paul was talking about. That has also been quite effective against the southpaw Torres. But yeah, when he straightens that right hand out, he's been able to find Torres' chin time and time again.
I'll tell you what, when you throw it straight every once in a while, it makes the looping one effective too. Because now guys can't get a sense of timing or a sense of anticipation. Because that's what a lot of defense in combat sports is not only just timing, it's also anticipation.
Now we see Torres coming out very aggressively, Chris.
Yeah, he pinned him into his own corner.
Yeah,
great combination. Luis Torres trying to get the momentum back, and a good start to this round. Even Paulie Feely had the 57 seconds in the corner because he had to make the walk.
Oh, I'll tell you what, they gave him the memo this time in between rounds. I don't know what they were telling him in the last few rounds, but they gave him the memo.
Cabrera's 62 seconds were too long, right? Torres as aggressive as we have seen since about round 3 or 4.
And the head underneath the chin of Cabrera too. That can be annoying, and that's also a little. Tell you what, these punches have gone through.
Yeah. To the body now, Torres. This southpaw, white and red, black trunks for Cabrera. WBC Latino lightweight title on the line, and this a big round, a big start to round 8 for Luis Torres.
Torres is doing a lot of damage this round.
Yep. Wow. Wobbles Cabrera there. And again,
I'd say Cabrera for a few rounds might have been getting his confidence up. I think he, maybe he gave himself a false sense of security. I don't think he thought Torres had this kind of round in him anymore.
I think Torres had so much success early boxing on the outside. He got away from what he normally does, which is really go right at you and let his hands go. Got away from that. Started this round just like that. Is having the best round of the fight since the second. I've given Cabrera the last 4 rounds straight.
Me too. I mean, I think this fight hasn't been that hard to score, right? I mean, the first few rounds were Torres just controlling the action, and then all of a sudden, it's like Cabrera woke up. And this round has been all Torres. I mean, clearly there must have been a memo in the corner that Torres got.
Cabrera woke up, and here in round number 8, Torres trying to put him back to sleep.
Look at the crowd is chanting, they're into it.
This is what it's about. Wednesday night fights on ProboxTV.
This is not where Cabrera wants to be.
I'll tell you, Torres has been using that lead right uppercut in the midst of the combination this round, and it has been really effective as it has been splitting the guard of Cabrera. Thanks, champ.
And that was the punch that I thought was going to be effective for Cabrera, because he's got a great uppercut on both hands, and I haven't seen that at all tonight.
And now what a difference in the body language from Luis Torres. Hands loose, feeling it, and he's really been powerful here in round number 8. Punishing Cabrera over and over after it seemed like Misael had gotten control of this fight. Long punches.
I'll tell you what, he got a second wind here, and after not throwing many punches the last few rounds, I guess we can't be shocked.
Well, right on cue there, Cabrera actually landed an uppercut.
Yeah, Cabrera's still there with the timing. I'll tell you what, but Torres, if he said he had the best camp of his career, you would expect him to have more endurance than he showed in the last few rounds, and it all came out this round.
Well, we've been talking about this fight being a real fight, and it certainly has been.
We're kind of on a roll here on ProboxTV, guys.
Let's keep the ball rolling.
You got that right. Paulie Torres came out immediately with a high level of aggression.
Yeah, right from the first moment Cabrera really didn't even get a chance to come out of his corner, and he was put right back into it. And then Torres was shooting combinations. Good attempts on the catch and shoots there by Cabrera. Just inundated and buried him in activity, did Torres. You still see, though, in between there, Cabrera was trying that catch and shoot hook. He's being out. The combinations were by Torres, got the better of the action, but you still see what Cabrera's trying to do with that high guard, trying to fly in with hooks in between the punches.
Which is pretty impressive, because he took a lot of damage early in the round. He looked tired, he looked hurt, and was still looking for those shots.
And more of the same to start round number 9 for Koreano, Luis Torres.
Torres tried to start this round the same way, but Cabrera wasn't having any of it. He's fighting back.
I have a feeling we're going to be in a phone booth from here until the final bell, and I'm not mad about it.
Nope. That's what you would expect of a highly anticipated matchup.
There is, and you got to see also, Torres, the way he throws these combinations, almost like a sprint. Sometimes he wants to get his wind back, and now Cabrera may not be letting him have it.
That's what it looks like. He's moving around a little bit, trying to catch his wind. He did look a little arm weary towards the end of the round, and Cabrera is looking very strong here in round number 9.
Cabrera with fast hands that land there.
He's being smart. Is Cabrera going down to the body? He threw a couple shots upstairs, then goes right back down. There's that uppercut.
Oof. Answered with a 4-punch combination by Torres.
Torres also being smart. They're trying to change the target by going left and right across both shoulders of Cabrera. Just trying to not have to be so active, while also not showing himself to be a target by doing that.
And he's also firing from that little tick-tock motion.
Cabrera just marching forward trying to get some points back. Missed with that right that's been very effective throughout the fight that time. Torres trying to make him pay.
Yeah, a couple of good left uppercuts there by Torres.
Fatigue starting to settle in on both men.
Yeah, then it's gonna tell you what, it's gonna make this fight make him down to who literally wants it more. Good combination there by Torres, and he steps out, so not giving the chance to Cabrera to return fire.
Man, that's about an 8-punch combination thrown by Luis Torres there. But answered by Cabrera.
And Cabrera comes back. Didn't land as much, but I mean, was through just as many punches. Oof.
I tell you, that right uppercut again at the end of the combination, it's getting through more and more for Torres. Haven't seen it in the earlier part of the fight.
And we got blood from the nose of Cabrera. Cabrera probably from those lead uppercuts of Torres.
The early knockdown scored by Torres in a big round 8. A huge factor in this fight thus far. Aggressive start in round 9 for Torres, but a good answer here by Cabrera in the last 30 seconds.
Both these guys really want this.
Man,
they're digging deep.
Yep.
Digging deep.
Well, they both said it's the biggest fight of their lives. And they're putting on a great showcase in front of the Hall of Famer, Juan Manuel Marquez.
Big left hook.
Hey, Cabrera comes back at the end of the last round, seconds of the rounds. He tends to do pretty well.
What a fight.
Score.
What a fight.
A lot of action.
We head to the 10th and final round.
Well, nothing to say it for now, but after that round, you wonder what they do have left.
No pasa nada.
Último round. Último. ¡Ey! Para arriba,
No tiene nada, no tiene nada. ¡Sale! ¡Sale, sale, sale!
¡Vámonos!
3 minutes remain. 10th and final round. Torres, the southpaw. White and red trunks. Cabrera and the black trunks. They have both proven that this fight was worthy of the acclaim that it was given coming in. Been a fun fight. It's been in a phone booth, as Chris talked about, in the last couple of rounds. Cabrera a little bit more square at times. He's just trying to land whatever he can do, Paul.
He started the round southpaw, and now he's back into right-hand stance, but he got nothing done southpaw in the first 30 seconds. He gave away the first 30 seconds, and now he's got to get it back.
Cabrera looks like he's just fighting on nuts and guts at this point. Mouth open, tired, lunging in.
Lunging those right hands, he got it in there, though.
But he's made that awkwardness effective tonight in spots, especially in those middle rounds.
Oh yeah, those middle rounds. I thought he was going to start to actually possibly go win the fight.
Well, I had him tying it up basically, other than the knockdown. In rounds, I still have it even. I have it 4-4-1 even, and the difference is the knockdown. Whoever really wins this round is going to decide if this is going to be a draw or not.
Yeah, good counter by shot. I've got a 5-4 for Torres. I had the first 3 for him, and the next 4 for Cabrera, and then the next 2 for Torres. Good back and forth fight. Good momentum swings.
A lot of pride when you're fighting in your hometown, Obregón, Sonora, Mexico. When you're from there, when you grew up in a difficult situation like Torres did. Cabrera, the same. Returning home for the first time in over 5 years. Torres looking to remain the WBC Latino lightweight champ.
Can't go back with your head straight up in the air. Torres had a good moment, but then going straight back lazily, and now he got him clipped with a couple of good shots from Cabrera.
You were right about the phone booth, Chris.
Yeah, these guys are like, goes off.
Good shots.
Two good shots by Cabrera.
Pulls straight back with his hands down and gets clipped. He lands a great shot, then pulls straight back with his hands down.
And gives it back and then some. Give that momentum
right hand again. That lunging right hand to Cabrera.
Look at Cabrera. He's not even looking at Torres. He's got his head down, just wading through punches.
Torres really has a high output of punches, too. I like how he stays busy with his hands.
Almost punch ahead there. We got to be careful. Or maybe there was.
Under 30 seconds.
I'm telling you, man, this round got close.
Yeah, I mean, I had Torres. I thought he was boxing really smart, and then
Cabrera started
roars back.
cleaner shots, yeah.
Little southpaw as the clock rolls down. And it's going to be in the hands of the judges.
Oh, another right hand to punctuate the round. Not for Cabrera. I'll tell you what, that could prove useful, man. I'm going to give that round to Cabrera. I got a draw.
Same.
So if you're Torres, you're really, really happy you scored that early knockdown.
Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, you're right.
And nobody has the home court advantage here, guys.
Right. Yo, I forgot the knockdown.
Right.
I'm counting it by rounds. I actually have Torres winning this fight by 1 point. I have a 5-5 in rounds, but Torres winning the fight by 1 point. Champ, you might have a draw, right?
No, I don't. I just realized that I have it 96-95 for Cabrera because I did have that even round in 9.
Oh, yeah.
So I had the even round in 9.
Interesting, yeah. So now it's gonna be interesting scorecards, man.
Oh, no. I'm wrong again. I do have it a draw because of the even round. I was right the first time.
You know what everybody was right about? That this fight was worthy of the talk, of the pre-fight fodder, and both men put on a show on ProBox TV. What a way to go in the 10th.
Yeah, and you saw Torres land a good shot, and then on the way out of that combination, he lets himself get hit, and there's, again against the ropes squared, staying too high up. One thing I used to always tell myself when I'm up against the ropes, don't be up high. You don't want to be up high against the rope. It's not where it is, because you don't have the option to pull back. And there it is. Torres again up high, and what happens is when you're fatigued, it's harder to bend your knees to get low because your legs are tired.
Well, a lot of guys, when they get tired, they put themselves on the ropes because of that, because they don't have to use their legs. They can lean on the rope.
But then you got to use your legs to bend down. And if you don't, you get hit like Torres is getting hit there.
If Torres doesn't win this fight, whether it be a draw or he loses, he's going to look back at that last round and be like, I gave it away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even he started the last round very well. He literally gave it away in the last couple of minutes.
So you have Torres up by a point a round.
Yeah, I
have it a draw.
Yeah, I have it 5-5 in rounds, but the knockdown is the difference in the fight on my card. Torres.
Let's take a look back at that knockdown, which could be the difference on the scorecards back to round number 2.
Yeah, we keep talking about this knockdown. It came off of Cabrera getting a little too reckless, throwing a lot of wide shots. Torres being smart, taking steps back and using that sneaky southpaw right hook that clipped on the side of the head, looked like it was by the ear of, there it is, there's that shot behind the ear. You see the legs immediately start to give because those shots mess with your equilibrium. You get hit with that shot behind the ear, you feel it all shocks all the way down your body, and it took a few moments for Cabrera to get those legs back after he got up.
And they hurt too. When you get rocked on your chin, you don't really feel it. It's kind of numb. When you get rocked from behind your ear, it actually hurts your head.
You get that ringing sound.
Judges have rendered their decision. Who will leave with the belt? Here is Pablo Flores.
And ladies and gentlemen, this bout has gone the distance of 10 rounds. And now we go to the scorecards. Después de 10 rounds de combate, nos vamos con las tarjetas de los jueces. Big round of applause for these two warriors tonight. Un fuerte reconocimiento para ambos gladiadores, Koreano Torres y Pichon Cabrera, por este gran combate. Judge, el juez Martín Canizales scored the bout 98-91, 98-91. And judges Adrián Aguillón and Esteban Soto have the same scores, 96-93. Los últimos dos jueces, Adrián Aguillón y Esteban Soto, acordaron 96-93. For your winner by the way of unanimous decision, su vencedor por la vía de la decisión unánime, Colonia Cajeme. And still, WBC Latino Lightweight Champion, a un campeón latino peso ligero del CMB. La Colonia Cajeme de Ciudad Obregón, from Sonora,
Unanimous decision, his third straight unanimous decision victory in a 10-round fight.
That 98-91 score.
What a shame. That guy had a good fight, so close to the ring.
I can't wrap. I can't.
y también fuerte reconocimiento para su oponente
Is it the same rep
de la
from the
colonia
Brunel Whitaker
410
fight
también
with
de
Ramirez?
Ciudad
I don't know. Or the same judge, pardon me.
Pichon Cabrera.
Well, let's take a look at it, because regardless of the scorecards, both men left it all in the ring. They put on a show. Here's that knockdown back in round 2.
Yeah, here's that, you know, some of the action from the fight. I mean, this was a knockdown here after a series of open, wide shots by Cabrera. Finally, Torres retaliates and catches him nicely, as Chris said, was a nice right hook behind the ear. So some good shots there as the fight wore on. You know, some good action as far as Torres was being at first sharp with these left hands. In the first 3 rounds, I thought he was very sharp with the left hands, but then started to pick up for Cabrera. He started landing in between Torres' speed. See Torres moving his hands a bit, but it started to be Cabrera landing the cleaner shots. There's a nice catch and shoot with the left hook. Really good transition from defense to offense on the part of Cabrera there. See there, nice left hook on the out and a good right hands. He started, you know, Cabrera started to use his awkwardness to his advantage, and he started to win rounds in our opinion here. And although as the fight started to close out, Torres started to bite down, and really in the penultimate round, during the last couple of rounds, he really picked up the pace. We thought Cabrera had a good last round. The first judge didn't think Cabrera had many good rounds at all, but we had a very close and a good, entertaining fight, as we usually give you here at ProboxTV, your boxing channel.
Well, 2 of those judges had a 96-93, which is essentially 6 rounds to 4 plus the knockdown, which is a close fight.
Yeah.
But that 98-91, I cannot wrap my head around that. I thought that Cabrera fought a really good fight.
But just remember, they're both hometown guys. Maybe it's one of his neighbors, you know, somebody in the barbershop.
He stole somebody's girlfriend, and now he's judging.
Exactly. Let's not go girlfriends with Paulie. Let's not go girlfriends with Paulie. Paulie Malignaggi go and finish up the night with Claudia Trejos. Magic Man, always a pleasure. As Paulie pulling double duty. He speaks like 8 languages, Chris.
It's insane.
And so he's going to go and finish it up there. But, man, Paulie's right. Like, a backyard brawl where you figure nobody had an advantage this way or that way in the judges' minds. One scorecard was a bit more lopsided than we anticipated, but the knockdown really was the defining factor, and it came very early in the fight, Chris.
Listen, I'm not angry that Koreano won. I thought that he looked sharper, especially from the majority of the fight. He scores the knockdown. It's just the 98-91 that is the issue.
But what a main event that it was. It was everything that we anticipated. It was everything that everyone hoped it would be. Mike Goldberg, the former world champion, Chris Algieri, Torres early, but what I really enjoyed was watching Cabrera work his way back into the fight. And then Torres had an answer, but Cabrera wasn't going away easily.
No, not at all. I mean, Cabrera would just put on a scrappy performance.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed like he was outgunned. It seemed like he was outclassed early, and then he just used his will to get back into the fight. And then Torres came back on strong on the end. And again, I'm not angry about the decision going to Torres. I just don't like it when it's that wide and not recognizing the good work that Cabrera did. I want to see that kid again. He fought great. Either way, I'm happy. The fight was awesome, and probably the right guy won, so I'm happy.
And like Paulie said, I mean, he had such a good seat. That judge was right there ringside. Paulie can pull him out, can he?
Yes.
That's why he's the magic man.
He's not only quick in the ring, he's quick on the mic as well.
But careful with girlfriend mentions with, you know, Paulie. That does have a storied past as well. For Torres, he impressively put the pedal back to the metal because he knew it was slipping away, Chris. And you said at that point in the 8th, when Torres started to pick it up and gain the momentum back, the rest of the fight would be in a phone booth. You were absolutely 100% correct.
I love when I say things and then the fighters actually do it. It makes me look really smart. I told you it was going to be a good fight. It was a great fight. But absolutely, that turnaround in that round 8 going into 9, something got into Torres. And
his brother was in the corner. His uncle was the cut man. So that Torres family getting the man who was in the back and back to gain the momentum, that's a great point you talk about. That's some family love right there.
My brother's been in my corner for my last 5 fights. There's something about family. They know their guy, right? You know, they know what they're doing. They know what they need to say in order to get them to do what they need to do. And it seemed like that's what happened there with Torres in that 8th round.
Well, whatever his brother Carlos said, it worked because Luis Torres turned it back on. And just another great night of fights that we have seen here on ProBox TV. Oscar Alvarez Jr., still want to see him work on some things. But, man, Mario Valenzuela was jab city and ultra impressive.
Absolutely. I mean, he really put on a display. He used that jab going forward, going backward. He was setting combinations up. That uppercut ended up breaking the nose, it seemed, of his opponent and was able to just really tattoo him the rest of the way and it made him in a bloody mess. But Fuentes never stopped coming. He did not want to let that O go. I had him winning the last round, but he never got discouraged. He kept going. He kept trying to push. He was just getting outgunned.
Another great night of fights, another Wednesday that is owned by us here at ProBox TV, and another night of me having the great pleasure working with you, Chris. Great job.
Always a pleasure.
2 weeks away, we will see you and the Magic Man. He might stay with us the whole time, or he might be trilingual. We don't know. But, of course, Paulie will be with us in 2 weeks as well. When we are back here live in our world headquarters, and again with a spectacular main event of the evening, Wednesday Night Boxing, main event scheduled for 10 rounds on March 22nd. Veteran super featherweight Jorge Lara of Guadalajara, Mexico, will look to reignite his career when he faces Aram Avagyan of Armenia. The co-feature will see an 8-round lightweight bout between two fighters who have recently toppled undefeated prospects. Angel Vasquez of San Luis, Rio Grande, Sonora, Mexico, takes on Mohamed Samaro from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Plus, a look at two of our future stars, super featherweight Dominic Valle, and welterweight Damontes Juicy Duncan. It all comes your way Wednesday, March 22nd, right here on ProBox TV. The 19-year-old Oscar Alvarez Jr. gets the decision, and he moves to 9-0 in his professional career. And then what a pleasure it was for the first backyard brawl, a 6-rounder in the super featherweight division. Mario Valenzuela, brilliant at the basics, and he gets his arm raised. Then, with the WBC Latino lightweight belt on the line, the champion defends in a 10-round unanimous decision victory. Torres over Cabrera, and what a fight it was. For the Magic Man, for Chris Algieri, Mike Goldberg, saying so long until next time. We see you right back here on ProBox TV.